Welcome to the Loan Officer Hotline. This is a new show that we are doing where we're helping loan officers fix the biggest issue they have going on in their business. This is not a podcast, though there's nothing wrong with a podcast. I just wanted to do something a bit differently than what you're seeing out there for loan officers to content for them to consume. And I got this idea from a mentor of mine who does this for businesses in general. And the guy's just a whiz with everything. And he helps or not loan officers, businesses in general, fix the biggest issue that's holding them back from their growth. And I've been doing this a long time. By the way, I'm DJ Christofferson. I've been a licensed loan officer for 17 years. I have seen everything that you could possibly imagine, maybe not everything in this business. I've had great successes, I've had failures, I have scaled big teams, I have failed with hiring, all that good stuff. I've helped build a company by multiple billions in annual volume, so on and so forth. So I've seen it, and I've helped lots of loan officers, hundreds of loan officers and branch managers grow and scale their business. All right, so anyway, with that, is that in dealing with that and with businesses, and we'll go to loan officers because that's what's the most important thing, is that you find people find themselves hitting ceilings. And that ceilings can be vary for loan officer to loan officer, branch manager to branch manager. It might be, it's from, even having trouble getting one loan per month, right? There's loan officers that are hitting a ceiling, having a hard time. Then there are branch managers that are doing 30, 40, 50 loans per month or even more, and they're having a hard time getting through that. And then, of course, everywhere in between. Now, here's the interesting thing is when you're trying to fix your business and you're looking at it, it can be pretty difficult because you're stuck inside of the mess. And but the good news is usually that there is one thing that if we were to fix that one thing, is that it would help you get to the next level. Now, you might have lots of different things in your business that you could make better and grow and improve and all of that kind of stuff. However, is that there's one thing that if you were to focus on right now, put your attention to that right now, it would help your business grow. Think of it like a hose. I like to use this analogy. You have a garden hose. You turn on the water and nothing comes out. And you're looking at it and you could be yanking all that stuff, but usually what it comes down to is that you look at that hose and there's one thing that needs to be unkinked. You unkink that part of the hose and the flow can come through. Now, for some loan officers, they don't even have a kink in their business per se. They haven't even turned on the freaking water, and then you have to turn on the water, right? So that's what we're going to be doing on these calls. And these right now I'm recording this one, but eventually we'll do them live. And I have 6 different guests from all across the country at various different parts in their career. I have one that's just starting off in their career. I got another that is getting back into the business or putting more focus in the business. I have big branch managers here. I have individual solar producers that are in the middle, and so we have a whole gambit of things that we're going to be talking about. Now, as we go through these individuals, and sometimes there's actually groups with here as well, is that even if you're not in that spot in your business yet, or you're beyond that spot in your business right now, you still want to learn and listen is because you can take those principles and things that we talk about and you can apply them to where you're at. Because not only do I want to help loan officers and branch managers fix the problems in their business, I also want to be able to provide the tools, the information, the resources, the things for you to avoid those problems. One of the best ways to grow is to avoid the problems that other people have encountered. And I've encountered many across my career. And so the first group we got coming up here, let me see the time here. I'm going to message my team and let them know to bring them into the room, is a couple, and they're out in Oklahoma. And so we got some Southerners, and I am from Wisconsin. So if you're wondering where my accent comes from in the nasally voice, it's because I am from Wisconsin. And so we're going to go through their business. What I had them do is I had them fill out a small intake form. And one of the reasons why I had them fill out a small intake form is because I find a lot of loan officers, they don't even think about these things to begin with, like some of the numbers. And knowing your numbers gives you a lot of clarity on where you should focus and put your attention to. It gives you a lot of insight. And so I have their intake form. So I have some ideas and I'm going to ask them some questions and go into it. But the goal is to find what's one thing, maybe two, if it's kind of tangential to it, that they can put their attention to, focus on, and if they fix that, it'll help them get to the next level. And then when they get to the next level, they're going to find new problems, and that's fine. Every time you get to new levels, there are new problems. There's a saying, new levels, new devils. And but the thing is, once you learn how to address issues in your business even earlier on, when you get to the next level of new issues, you know there's a solution. You know how to go about it to help yourself grow. So let me message my team.
Hey, real quick, if you're a loan officer or a branch manager and your business is stuck, whether it's because you don't have enough business coming in or you're having trouble getting the business closed, I want to help you. I do free loan officer hot seats where I invite loan officers on one at a time and I help them fix the biggest issue in their business that's stopping them from to grow. Now, if this is something that interests you, in the description is an intake form. Fill that out, let me know a little bit about your business and I'll personally review it. If it's something I think that I can help, then my team will reach out to you and we'll get you scheduled for one of our upcoming hot seats.
Send in the ladies. Okay. And so they're going to send in. So we have this awkward time of where you got to wait for them to move in. And no note taker. We won't allow the note taker. And what I'll be doing is for all these people that I'm doing these sessions for, so if you want them, there will be a link around this video to put an intake form in, is that we'll be giving, not only will we be giving them the feedback and the and stuff from the step by step, but we're going to create some documents and things that they could take for an ongoing basis to help them implement. And because at the end of the day, nothing really matters unless you implement. And so I have Mortgage Pro and I have Lettuce. How are you guys doing? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us okay?
I can. It's just a little quiet. I don't know if it's my end or if you guys are a little far from the mic. I think it'll be fine. Oh, that's way better. Way better.
Okay. We just turned it up.
So you guys are in Oklahoma, huh?
Yes, we are.
You guys don't have a southern drawl.
Well,
I might have a little bit of a draw.
That's good. I got the Wisconsin nasals, I tell everybody, so it's quite all right. Well, I appreciate you two hopping on and being my first guest on. I haven't decided a name on this yet, so if you guys come up with a name, maybe there's a special bonus. But so far, it's the Loan Officer Hotline, and but we'll see what we come up with.
we appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I got your intake form, and we know each other, so I'm not going to hide the fact that we know each other and all that stuff. We've talked a little bit in the past, which is fine. But it's not like we're seeing each other all the time and be able to have conversations all the time. And I know you guys have a little one and all the complications that go with that and managing time and all that stuff. And you guys got daycare in place now, which is both hard and good at the same time. I understand how that is. But now the focus is, okay, let's get our business ramped up and get that growing. And so I got your intake form and I'm going to ask some questions because I just want to make sure I understand everything. And then we'll see where the conversation goes. I mean, I have ideas, but based on some of the things you might share, I might go in a slightly different direction with everything. And so you guys are closing about how many loans a month are you guys closing right now? I have 8 to 12 is what you guys put. Is that about right?
Yeah, like last year we averaged about 6 or 7 loans a month. We closed 78 loans for the year. We had more, but a few rolled, but we have a lot larger goals to exceed that amount of units and volume. We did right under 23 million.
Yeah.
23 million. Oh, I can't do that math real quick. So what's your average loan size approximately?
Let's see here. Our average loan size is probably, let's see. I think we're like in the 250 range.
Yeah, I was gonna say Oklahoma's a little bit lower than the rest, right? A lot of the country.
Yeah, maybe
just
about
under
294-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just under 300.
Just under 3. That's not bad. I know the people in California are wondering, oh, I wouldn't even look at that one. But no, I get you. That's what I even in Wisconsin is I most of my career. I mean, only in the last how many years did volume skyrocket? But any which way. And so you're doing that, which is great. So you did just under 80 units. And what do you guys want to get to? Like, what's your next goal of number that you want to get to?
I think an attainable goal is 100 units, but I don't want to stop
at 100,
at 100 units.
Yeah.
I think
ultimate goal is to be doing,
120 loans a year at least. We know we can handle that.
Yeah.
I know we can.
We want to be doubling where we're at now with honestly within 2 years.
There's no reason why we can't handle 10 loans a month. We do close, sometimes we close 14 loans a month.
Yeah, you have that ups and
but we want to do that on a
consistency. Yeah.
Okay. So with that is, let's just hypothetically say you had enough leads that came in that you could hit that number, like say for the next 3 months, You could do,
Sure.
10, 10, 10. I mean, do you have the operational capacity, or is that
Yeah.
or you guys feel good with that? Okay, cool. And
Yes.
I
so
do
there,
think so. Yeah.
perfect.
Mhm.
So in business, and this is something for you guys to know, is if you want to continue to go beyond 120, is
Mhm.
that there are two types of constraints that a business has. There is demand constraint and supply constraint. And most loan officers are in the demand constraint, whereas that, hey, they can handle the business they currently have, but they don't have enough business, right? They need to create
Mhm.
more demand. So we'll talk about that. However, it's one thing that, is why we focus on one specific thing for your business today, demand constraint is you to be conscientious as you grow, is that you have to fix then what's called the supply constraint. And I know you have somebody on your team already, I think part-time, helping out,
Mhm.
is that then you will have to push up the supply, be able to handle your operations more. And that's just future thinking, is because is usually want to head higher, slightly ahead of curve on that. Like in my business right now, it's my issue is supply constraint, is where I got to put people in place. So you guys just met Matt. Matt is helping me
Mhm.
with some of that. We brought in some other people to help supply, but we're going to talk about demand then. And honestly, demand is probably one of the easier things to fix. Is it's just that it's boring, and usually in most cases. And so your business, realtor partners, past clients, and database. So let's say you do, 8 loans in a month. What percentage is coming from realtor? Like of that is realtors. What would you say is past clients, database, and what are you doing to get business from both of those?
Realtors probably what, 90%?
Yeah.
I would say realtors is probably 90%,
Mm-hmm.
85 to 90% of our business.
And then
And
probably
then past clients.
past clients and new clients
Yeah,
would make up the rest of the 5 or 10%.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what your second question was, what are we doing to
Mm-hmm.
obtain that business? So, um, really, I think staying in touch with the current real estate agents that we have and giving them, good service and great communication during the loan process, all of those things, getting their buyers to the closing table, all of the things that we should be doing to maintain that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then past clients, um, I don't think we've done anything. Well,
Well, we
we
just have
we
been
just
calling
have been calling
our database.
as of recently. We've been calling our database.
And we've been building up refis doing that.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So you are getting
Um,
refis out of your database, so it's working.
Yes.
Yes.
We probably should have started calling sooner.
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't start calling clients until like maybe
A
the last
week
week or
ago,
two.
yeah.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
on.
In this market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. It's you're starting to take the action now, which is great. And
Mhm.
so with realtors, and what how did you get the realtors that were sending you business currently? That
Well, initially, so our most loyal real estate agents that we're grateful to, work with, have all started at some point with an initial phone call. Aside from, there have been a couple real estate agents that we work with that came as a referral from another real estate agent,
Mhm.
Mhm.
a respectable one in our market. But outside of that, something that we have not done as much is really, seek new real estate relationships as much as we would like to and should. Now, we were just talking about this recently, and I was saying that, my hang up and where I get stuck in my head is, I go, well, I don't want to be like every other loan officer and just do, these, drop offs and this and that. I want to, be different. But yesterday,
Mhm.
Mandy just, was like, hey,
I
let's
sent cookies to the daycare because Olivia started daycare this
Yep.
week.
Yeah.
And I thought, like that's my child. I want them to take really good care of her. So I sent them cookies. And
And
then
then-
I said, we need to send a real estate office some cookies too. Who should we
Mhm.
send it to? And Kim just was like, let's, send it to
Send it
this
to-
group. So we sent it to the group. And right after it was delivered,
We got
one
a
of
phone call.
the front office guys, he's actually an agent. He just was up front.
Yeah.
He called Kim and said, "What is this for?" And we just said, just thank
Just
you
thank you.
for partnering with us. We just wanted, this is for your whole office. Enjoy it. And he said, well, would you guys like to come and do like a lunch and learn in April? We're going to have at least 30 agents at this lunch and learn. So we said, yes, absolutely. So we know So just from that one activity yesterday that didn't really take that much time,
Yeah.
we got a really positive response. So we need to do more of that.
You
So
guys have,
that kind of squashed my false belief.
here's something to think about is I have a saying is that when everybody else zigs, you zag. And so like I agree and I used to agree is that all that stuff like that, people do the drop-offs, is that got played so much that it lost its impact.
Uh-huh.
But because it's lost its impact, everybody says it lost its impact, and nobody goes to the office anymore and stuff, is that nobody's doing it anymore. And so when somebody's doing it
Yeah.
anymore, everything kind of goes back and
Yeah.
forth. And so let me share my screen here. I'm gonna share my oh no, I gotta do advanced share. And I gotta share my iPad here. And so you guys have something that a lot of loan officers don't have is likability. Is And people do business with people they like. They keep doing business with you because one, you're good at what you do, and two, you don't let them forget you. And so some people will be likable and they're good at what they do, but they expect that the realtor is going to remember them always whenever they have an opportunity. And they don't, is because we think we're more important than we are in our own eyes. That sounds kind of mean, but is the most important person that realtor is themselves, their family, and then their clients, right? Is so they're not
Absolutely.
thinking of you unless we inject ourselves into their lives on a constant basis, like the drop bys, which is good. So there's this framework is called more, better, and new. And this is looking as what should we focus on doing? Should we focus on doing more of what we're doing? And for you guys, I would say is absolutely realtors, is that something you should focus on. Obviously, your past client database, that should be as part of your regiment. Should we do it better? I have some things on here that I'll talk about better. And then people that go new. What most
Mhm.
people do is they focus on the new. When things are slow, is they think is that, okay, I need to do something different and new. But anytime you
Mhm.
do something new, there are times to do it, but anytime we do something new, you start over. Like it is like it's like trying to learn how to walk again. And so you're
Yeah.
starting over and it takes a while to ramp up. And so instead, if you guys are already having success with your realtors, and you're already having success in just a week of your database, you need to be doing more of those, right? Is that's your focus and is into and so
That's feels right.
yep. And so like let's talk about how you can make this better. Is okay, you're to do more of that, more of those outreaches. Maybe you make a plan at least once a week. You're doing something with an office, right? You can do that. And then you get to the use of doing it more. And then as you're doing it more, you optimize and you make it better. Like for instance, this is the first episode we're doing of this, is that if my 60th episode is the same as my first episode, I'm not making it better, right? I need to make it better, right? I got to do that. And so better it could be as okay is I'm sending the cookies and I'm getting invited to speak, into their office. And it's okay, then I think what can I do to make that better when I speak to their office, right? But even before we get to that, is you're doing 8 or so deals per month around there, and I'm sorry, how many are from realtor relationships?
We would say probably 85 to 90%.
Okay,
Yeah.
so almost seven. We'll say 7 of the 8 are coming from your relationships. Now, what are you doing during that process in order to squeeze more out of that one single deal that you have? Do you have anything specific that you're doing?
No,
No.
we need to.
Mm-mm.
And something we used to do in the past is we would work on the listing agents. We haven't been doing that at
Oh
all
yeah.
on
Hmm.
transaction. We've
And
neglected that.
yeah, because every deal, almost every deal, new purchase, you have the buyer's agent, the listing agent, and of course the buyer. This is something that
Mhm.
I did to let me stop my screen share here. So is is worked really well, and it still works really well, and it will continue to work really well because nobody does it, or very few people do it. Is that is that those three opportunities you have during those, the buyer's agent, listing agent, and the actual buyer, if you were to do nothing else, but every time you got a new deal, is that you would have intention of squeezing opportunities out of that that process or those three things, your business would go from 80 to 120. Without a doubt on my mind. You could easily get an extra 40 deals per year, not even talking about your database and stuff, and to get. And here's how you do it. It's so simple. It just takes time. It takes discipline to do it. Is how do you update your buyers? And how do you update the listing agent, buyer agent?
Emails.
Emails.
Usually.
All right. So here's what most loan officers do: email, automation, or text message, or something along those lines, right? That's what.
Yeah,
whatever.
we do text
Yeah, we
too.
do text as well.
All right.
Sometimes calls.
Sometimes calls. So
But not like that.
what I recommend is you create a cadence. Is I used to do it every Tuesday and Friday. That might be too much for some. I would start off with 1 day a week, and then you work your way up to 2 days a week, and you do a status update phone call. The reason why I do a phone call, it sounds busy, but if you look at it as an operational thing, it's just busy work. You can train anybody to do it. But you look at it as this is prospecting time. Is prospecting time. And when you do it this way, because the number one complaint for a loan officer that realtors have, buyers have, is lack of communication. Even with all the technology and all that stuff going on, there's still a problem with lack of communication, or it's not deep. They don't know what's going on. It's slow and all that stuff. But if you were to call every, let's say Tuesday or Friday, I like Fridays because it's going into the weekend, so it potentially creates some opportunities. Is that it's giving you opportunities for a few things. One is to get more referrals, plant seeds for future referrals, and or get a meeting. And with your personalities is that if you can get more meetings with more realtors, you're going to get more business. So like, for instance, I call up the listing agent on a Friday and say it's the first call, and you call them Friday and say, hey, listing agent, this is DJ Christofferson here with X and X company. I am the loan officer on the purchase of 123 Main Street. The listing agents, I always use the property address. Buyers agents, I use buyers. And one of the things I do is every single Friday, or the number one complaint realtors have with loan officers is that poor communication, right? What I do is every Friday, I'm going to pick up my phone, I'm going to call you, give you an exact update where we're at in the process. And that way you can always let your sellers know what's going on. You won't ever have to chase me. You know what's going on with the deal at all times. And today's Friday. I'm going to give you my update of where we're at. And then you give the update based on whatever it is that you can obviously legally say to the listing agent. Now, the first call, I'm not going to do really an ask for any opportunity, but I am going to ask this. I'm going to say, do you find this valuable after I give that? Yes. They're going to say yes. Great. And so now I'm going to follow that framework every single Friday. And I'm going to say, hey, listing agent, we're week number 2. It's Friday. I'm giving you your update so you can give some good news to your sellers or what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And then you give your update. And then after the update, then this is where your opportunity is to ask for something else. And this ask is going to be hey, this is our first deal together, or maybe you've done a couple of deals together, but we've never actually met. Can we set up a time, whether it's, if you're local, get together for a coffee or a Zoom, like I do, Zooms are great, and talk some shop. You will get those meetings, or you will get the opportunities for them to refer you. Hey, just so you know, I don't know if you're showing houses this weekend. If you are, I'm available, even if they're working with another lender. And if they can't get a hold of their lender, call me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm not expecting anything. You're providing value, and you'll squeeze that out of them. Same thing with the buyer's agent. You do that with the buyer's agent, and even if you work with them, you're constantly top of mind. Here's a really cool thing is when you do this, this then becomes a unique selling proposition. This is something when you start meeting with more realtors, or for instance, when you meet with this group of people that you gave the cookies to, and you get to present to 30 of them, is that you can use this, hey, why should we work with you guys? So you have all your standard stuff, but I would say something like, one of the biggest frustrations realtors have with us loan officers is that we suck at communication. Anybody agree with that? They're all like, yeah, you're going to agree. Well, here's what I do is that every Friday I pick up my phone and I'm going to call you with an exact update where we're in the transaction. Now, if there's some things that happened earlier in the week, I'm not going to wait till Friday to tell you. But you're going to guarantee I'm going to call you every Friday you can even say between the hours of 10 and 12 or whatever your calling time is, and they give it. Would you find that valuable? Would that put you at ease? Would that put your sellers at ease? Yes. Great. That's one of the things that I do amongst all the other things that I have that I can help you build your business. You do that
Okay.
every single week. Like I did it so much is that if I missed weeks, I was sick or something like, one of those days is like I forgot it was Friday or whatever, is I'd have realtors calling me and say, "Are you okay, DJ? What's going on? Is everything okay?" Not mad. Okay, worried is that something went wrong, right? Because I created such a pattern for them, right? That they fell in love with it, right?
That's
So it's super simple. It takes time, but people aren't doing this. They used to do it more, but
yeah.
then technology came, and now that everyone's going to wait for AI and have an automated I have no problem with AI, but people are going to lean on it way too heavy, and what people are going to crave is personal relationship. One more thing with regarding to buyers agents, and I firmly believe if you do this every week, you will go from 80 to 120. This will happen, and then you'll be able to
Okay.
use this every meeting. Is with the buyers is people wait until after the closing to ask for a referral. That's good, but the better thing is you strike while the iron is hot, when people are in the mode
Okay.
of doing things. And why you do that is because as soon as the house closes and they're worried about painting, moving, all this other stuff, and their brain switches from buying mode into settling mode. But when people
Yeah.
are in the buying mode, they're more hyper aware of conversations around them, of other people talking about buying, selling, refinancing. It's called a reticular activating system. And when if you ever bought a car or you're familiar with the concept, is that you buy a car, you drive off the lot, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. It's not that the cars just appeared. It's just that now that you have that car, you're driving that car, you're more aware of it everywhere else. It's just how it works. And so you could take advantage of that during the process. So the way to do that is you do the same framework. Hey, buyer, it's Friday here. How was your week? So on and so forth. Hey, I'm giving you your Friday update, blah, blah, blah. By the way, have you come across anybody that mentioned they're looking to buy or sell? And they'll say no or yes. Great. Can I get the number? If they say no, say no worries. When you do come across somebody, can you tell them about me? I will love the opportunity to work with them. What I'm doing now is I'm implanting me into their thoughts, is because they're already more hyper aware of people around them. They'd be at Panera and somebody mentions it, right? They all of a sudden hear it. It's like, they just hear someone talking about it. But now I'm saying when you come across someone, which they're likely will, is can you tell them about me? When they come across somebody, they can't help but now think of you because you told them to. It's like Inception, right?
Yes.
And now it doesn't guarantee they'll tell them about you, but you've put yourself in a better position for them to actually tell them about you,
Sure.
right? And it's just it's simple. The biggest problem will be for you guys, is that it can get boring after a while. That's just it. Sales is boring, doing the same thing over and over again. But that's why you do a lot of it, and then you refine it. And then as you refine it, you do even more of it. And you keep doing it until you max that out before you go into something new. You think this will help?
Okay.
But if it's yielding the results that we're seeking, that's what it's all about.
That is. And I will tell you though, is
If
that as
boring
you,
makes
Yeah.
money, I'm okay with
because
boring.
there's parts of the job right now that are boring that we just
Yes.
continue to do because we're getting the results that we want. So, I mean,
I-
that just comes with the territory, I think.
it does. I will tell you though, once you start hitting certain numbers, is that even those numbers become boring. And so it's
Sure.
like okay, now you have to find new ways to keep pushing
Yeah.
yourself and discipline. But I'm really excited for you guys. And what I want to hear is, being that we know each other, is that I get the feedback how it goes.
Yes.
For sure.
What time frame do you want the feedback?
It's
60
yeah.
days, 90 days?
Hey,
What?
30, 60, 90, just keep me posted how it goes. And then my
Okay.
goal is that once you start getting to that, reach out. Maybe we could set up another one of these, and then we'll cover something else that might be, or how we can take that and make it even better.
Okay. I feel confident that we can commit to this. It's
I
something
think
that
this is good
we're
'cause
not doing, and something
it's
that would be
simple.
easy to implement.
We can do
Very
this.
easy. So
All
let's
right.
try it and see what happens.
And then we'll do something new next.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds
Give
great.
you time to think of something else cool to come up with.
Thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate you, ladies. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Matt, did the next one guys show up?
Nah, unfortunately not. I've got a view of the participants and they're not here yet.
All right,
So,
let me message Nick. Nick is
all
out of
right, cool.
Minnesota.
Oh, I see Jeff Jeff just entered the waiting room.
Take Jeff and tell Jeff we might bring him on because here shortly. And then Nick's from Minnesota. I'm gonna give him a break because those people up there are kind of weird. I'm just kidding. Nick's I know Nick, so they're our brother, we'll call him our little sister to Wisconsin any which way. So Nick, if you're listening to this and you watch this, calling you out, buddy, calling you out. So move Jeff to room 1 and let me do a little debrief, and so you can prepare him a little bit, and then I will bring a Jeff in here. So
Cool.
just go.
You just let me know when.
Yeah, I'll text you on Click.
No worries. Cool. See you now.
All right, see ya. All right, so guys, very common is what the ladies we're going through, and most loan officers, is that more, better, new framework is that you'll find a lot of loan officers is that they just need to do more of what's working, and they're already closing a good amount of business. I mean, 80 loans a year is nothing to shake to shake your head at all. That's a lot of loans, especially, excuse me, in the environment that we've been in. It's just a matter is they need to do more of it. They're already saying that when we did this, we got this business. We got connected with other realtors that are getting business from that. But they stopped doing it. Why did they stop doing it? Life, boredom. Maybe they didn't realize how well it was working until they took a step back and saw is that that's a part of our business that works. And so, like, the reason why I went to instead of focusing on completely on more on a bunch of tactics to getting more realtors, is that I went to going them better and is making their opportunities they have with the realtors better. And for them, it simply is taking a few the opportunities they have, squeezing it, and what can they do to get more opportunities of what they already got. There's a famous business consultant, Jay Abraham, and he's helped the company. He's been around for a long time, increased by billions of dollars the companies that have hired him for consulting. And what he focuses in on is not new. It's not necessarily even more. It's like, what opportunities do you have already that you're sitting on that you can squeeze more out of? He wrote a book, getting everything you can out of all of you got. I think that's the exact wording of it. Could be slightly off. And it's like, hey, you have these opportunities, but what can you do to get more out of the opportunities you have? And for a lot of loan officers that are closing 4 loans per month, 8 loans per month, 10 or so loans per month, is that they already have the opportunities come in, but then they just need to make it better. Now, if their goal was to go from, say, 8 to 30 loans per month, is then we need to increase the more a lot. They have to do a lot more of the prospecting activities to get more, to get more business in. But being that they wanted to go from 80 to 120, yes, it's a 50% increase, but they can get that 50% in just by simply doing that one tweak. Those status update phone calls. I know people are like, oh, phone calls. Oh. Don't view it as a operations activity. View it as a sales activity, because it is a sales activity if you treat it as a sales activity. If it's simply just giving an update, then it is just operations. You can get anybody to do that. A text message will suffice, or an automation will suffice. But if you pick up the phone, you call them, you're building relationship, and you're going to be able to ask for those opportunities. And then you ask for those opportunities, you get them, and then you squeeze that, and you see you kind of yourself like a flywheel where it becomes self-powering. All right, so let me pull up my notes here I got from Jeff. Man, I should have peed before we started, so I apologize for that. Where are my notes here? So, by the way, if you're watching this, what can we make this better? Let me know. I'm open feedback. And no, that's not Jeff's. Where's Jeff's? Oh, I'm just gonna get used to this. So Jeff, I think, is in Tennessee. So we got another person. Well, that's not really south. That's like middle of the country, but they got a little bit of an accent there. I have no idea if that's actually how they sound. Let me see here. Nope, that's not the right thing. I'm going into the wrong document, guys. Wrong document. And so Jeff, let me click on Jeff's here to get a real quick refresh. Okay, he's closing a few loans per month. Okay, he's making some good coin on stuff. Can't keep agent partners engaged. Okay. Gaining better realtor and business partners. All right, so let me message. By the way, I didn't turn my hat backwards. Those of you guys that know me, is that I turn my hat backwards when it's game time. It's my switch. If you've ever seen Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone, the best 1980s movie that has to do with a trucker in an arm wrestling competition, trying to get custody of his son back from after his wife passed away, and his rich father-in-law is trying to keep him. You're like, DJ, that's way too much information. Ready for Jeff. Jeff, good dude. I know Jeff. All these loan officers for the first call. Well, not all of them. One I do not know. But I'll tell you the story when he comes on. Assuming he comes on, somebody make sure they show up. Is that a pretty funny story on that? But Jeff's a good guy, former military, and all that stuff. So let's see here. I need a pee bag. My goodness. Mortgage made easy. Mortgage is made easy. How we doing?
Good. How are you, DJ?
I'm good. So, you're in Tennessee, right?
That's correct.
All right. So for all the audience that I was talking to, that's gonna be watching us, I was trying my Tennessee accent, and I know how good it is. Not too good as a Jeff. Well, I appreciate you coming on a little on early. Why is that? You don't do you know? Oh, well, I won't share his name. I don't know if you know him and such, but there's a reason he didn't show up. I think he got afraid. I don't have to make fun of him. So I appreciate you jumping on early with us. And
Oh,
so
sure.
yeah, so I had a couple from Oklahoma, and they're looking to grow, obviously. And as I was sharing with them, is that there are two main constraints a mortgage business has. It's either demand constraint, meaning that they don't have enough business coming in or leads coming in, or their supply constraint is where they have enough business coming in, but they're struggling to handle the flow that's coming in. And looking at yours, would it be fair to say is that you need more coming in? Is that
I definitely need more traffic, and how do I say, and I need, I guess, more or better producing agents. Fair enough. I
Yep.
worked with 10 agents last year, 10 different agents.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem developing a rapport with agents.
Yeah.
I can do that quickly. I think my key is maybe uh, targeting up to 100, 200, 300, right? Agents maybe doing instead of 8 buy sides, maybe 4 to 5, correct? Maybe I need to spread my wings more with
Yeah,
a
there
lot more agents
Yeah,
to
there's
attract.
there's a lot of ways that we can go about that. Now,
Okay.
by the way, I see that you're going to be meeting with Todd. I love Todd. Todd and I are buddies. I was with him last week, so make sure you talk with Todd is great, and he's going to keep you accountable in the stuff the group that you're going to be joining. So I just wanted to say thumbs up on that. Todd's a
Right.
great dude.
Oh yeah, we've already started. It's
Oh, you
he's
did?
incredible.
Yeah, good.
He's stretching my thinking of different ways, right, to attract business or obtain business through not the typical referral channels. But I'm listening to.
Yep. All right, cool. So let me ask then. So the agents that you have, how did you get those agents?
Just over time developing a rapport. A couple of them, DJ, they were on the listing side and they were impressed,
Mm-hmm.
and so I stayed in touch with them, and then we just come together, But it takes time, you know how that is.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you constantly stand in front of them. I try to make calls to them weekly, right? Just check in. How can I help you? I'm all about helping their business, right? If I can help them grow their business, that's fair. We can grow together.
So
Yeah.
how are you helping them grow their business? Because I like that mindset. Well, one of the things that helped me grow a lot and really quickly, obviously doing all the prospecting efforts to have the meetings and such, which we can talk about, but is being, valuable, integral to their business, helping them grow. What are some of the things that you are doing to do that? Like what's your what's your angle for that?
My angle is it's more customer, especially with their listings. I know a lot of people don't target listing, but think about it. If they have a lot of listings, then they're going to have potential buyers also, right? Because the buyer, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying you're going to capture the majority of the buyer, but you will get exposure to several, especially like if I do flyers for them, open house flyers or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. To me, it's more mental, right? It's like, okay,
Yep.
what do you need this week? Are you having an open house? Is there something you want me to crunch some numbers for someone?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to run ads? I mean, I'm versatile, DJ,
Yep.
depending on the specific agent and what will help grow their business. Because you know how an agent's in this market, they need this over here, right? They maybe need more branding or something. Over here,
Yeah.
they may be trying to focus on a different demographic. I
Yep.
mean, it just depends. I'm not trying to be vague. It's just depends on
No.
the agent education. Yeah.
No, that's good, is having some of that versatility. That means you can be flexible and adapt to the agent that you want. Where that
Right.
that can get you in trouble, and I'll explain that in a second here. But before I do that, is and this will depend whether I think it's a potential issue or not. Is you're closing like what, 3 to 4 a month? Is that what I don't have the thing in front of me right now.
Yes, we closed. Well, we were a little short on January and February. We closed two
Hmm.
loans each month. Okay, now
Yeah.
we've already closed a loan this month. We should close at least two more. So I'll hit three this month, three to
Okay.
four.
Got it.
We
Okay.
have four planned, but one may roll due to its new construction.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes. Yeah,
Totally
I don't have to
understand.
tell you.
Yeah, and January is probably one of the most brutal months I've seen for loan officer production in a long time. I see a lot of the numbers for loan officer, so I totally get that. And your goal is to double that? Was that what it was?
I would like to double it. I would like to get to 48 to 50 loans at 15 million. I did, what did I do? 26 loans at about almost 8 million last year, 7.8 million.
Excellent. Okay,
Yeah.
so at your numbers where you're at and where you want to go is that being you're not being all things to all realtors, but I'm just going to use that term because you're not having one specific position that you're trying to push out into the marketplace. Would that be fair? Like, hey, this agent needs this, I can do that. This agent needs that, I can do that. Would that be kind of a fair assessment?
That's fair. Now, I do get at least one call a month since I'm a veteran. I
Hmm.
really thoroughly enjoy helping other veterans, and I have a vast knowledge of VA, loans.
Yeah.
I mean, even pick up the phone and speak to the VA Regional Loan Center out of Atlanta if I need
Yep.
to do that. You follow me? Like I'm a very hands-on with veterans.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That
that,
I
yeah.
probably need to brand myself more about that, DJ, because I have a niche. It's kind of like if I really truly look at myself, that's probably could be a niche for me, and attract more buyers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually made a video recently on niching, and
Okay.
I'll make sure you watch that one, and so send it. But is where I feel I agree in niches. The riches are in niches, right? The thing is, though, I do think most people though is they focus too soon on a niche to go after
Okay.
it because not saying that you shouldn't do that eventually. Is because I think that going from 3 to 4 to 7 to 8, you could do that almost not literally overnight, but very quickly. Building the niche, that takes longer, is because all the work you have to do in the branding, if you're going to make videos, frankly, you're not going to be great at all that stuff to start off with because anything we start new, we stumble through it, and most people they stop before they have any traction, right?
I
Is where
got you.
people get themselves in trouble is that they stop doing what's building them the money now in order to go after something different, in this case, maybe a niche and
Right.
let's say the VA niche. And by the way, I think that's a great market, and I think you would crush it there. It's just that you have to not pull time aside from what you're doing to feed your family and all that stuff, and
Right.
allocate it to that. If you want to do the VA, you use your time outside of your standard workday. Like there's a saying is like you have your 9 to 5, which is your mortgage, what you're doing now. Now, obviously, you don't just work 9 to 5, but that mentality. But then you're 5 to 9, so 5 a.m. to 9, and then 5 p.m. to 9. Like one of those slots, that's where you start to work and build your niche, whether it's the marketing, the branding, all that stuff. And so
Okay.
I just want to share that because one thing that loan officers stay stuck is that they're constantly moving from thing to thing, or they don't put enough effort into what's already working. And so, like for you, you're doing 3 to 4 a month, and then you want to go to 7 to 8. You're getting with the listing agents. So would you say a lot of your better agents that you're working with now were once from the listing side?
I would say they're still on the listing side. I have two what we consider wells, right? Uh,
Uh-huh.
when I say wells, they're doing at least eight or more buy sides.
Okay.
But they're primarily more listing agent, but they still think of me, and I get at least, well, last year I did DJ, to be fair, that's when I was tracking.
Hmm.
Um, they were more listing agent, but they found enough time or resources to be able to send me, a couple buyers. Yeah.
And so how did you capture them though? Were they first the listing agent on a deal that you had as you're working the buyer's agent, they were the listing agent, or did you meet that listing agent through a cold call or a network event? Like, how did you first get connected with those listing agents?
They were definitely on the listing side.
They were
Fair
on the
enough.
transaction. Okay.
They were on the transaction, and I just kept networking them. They liked the way I follow up weekly. Like I do what they call the DSP, and you're familiar with it. So I'm
Yep.
sure a daily success plan. So every Tuesday, all parties of a loan transaction, I am constantly follow up, follow up, follow up. I mean, all parties.
Good.
And I'm telling you, a lot of these agents, that's how I attract most of I'm just a very methodical, and I let them know, hey, as soon as we start this transaction, I'm going to be calling you every Tuesday. I'm going to check in with you, give you a status update, and more than likely, we're going to close early.
Yep.
So if you have any questions, have them ready for Tuesday because I'm going to talk to you every Tuesday throughout the transaction.
And that's a phone call?
And that's a phone call
It's
or a
really,
text. Some people like a text. Some of these agents get so busy, they're like, hey, Jeff, just shoot me a text. No problem. And I'll shoot them a text every Tuesday.
so what's funny is the couple that are on beforehand is they're doing about 80 loans a year and they want to go to 120. And that's one of the key things I told them that they need to do is not just they need to make phone calls, status update calls, because if you do that right, you'll get more business right out of that. So which is great. So you're already
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
And then 40% of my business last year came from my database, DJ. Think about that.
And what are you doing to get out of your database? Is that just
I
randomly
pick up the
happening?
phone mainly just pick up the phone. You know, I had some services where, and I think you're aware of this, where you can sign all your past clients up about their home, you know, and it does a
Yep.
background check and maybe they're going to list it or it keeps tabs right on the value of their home, right? Just stay
Yep.
in front of them. Just anything to stay in front of the clients,
Yeah.
and then also pick up the phone, right? Once or twice a month. I try to do it weekly. I need to get better at that this year. On Database Wednesday, I call it, pick up the
Yeah.
phone, just pick 2 or 3 letters out of my database and call, I do know that works like clockwork. I mean, it's
Yep.
amazing. They know someone or it triggers their brain. Hey, call Jeff.
Yep.
It's all about staying top of mind. I'm just trying to stay top of mind, thank them for the business. By chance, do you know anyone, looking to buy, sell, or refinance?
Perfect. So I'm going to share my screen here, and
Okay.
the people that happen to watch the first group on here, I'm going to pull up the exact same thing that I was showing the ladies that was talking with before, and there's a thing called sorry, this thing is I should probably just start a new one, but that's all right. I'm not going to is more, better, new, and this is like what should we focus on as a loan officer? Should we do more of what we're doing? Should we do it better, or do we need to do something new? And so, like, I'll just mention the new really quick. New would be, your niche of VAs. This is the last thing I would do. Is if
Okay.
you want to build your business quickly, not that it won't get to there eventually, but once you start making more money, going after a new niche will be easier, is because you'll be able to hire people to help you. And like whether
Okay.
it's content creation, editing, all that stuff, because that takes a lot of time. And if you've never done it, you're not going to be great at it, to begin with. This will help you then, get ahead of the curve. But before we do, new is that we focus on should I do more or better? Now,
Okay.
for who I was talking with before, out of Oklahoma, is that they were good at doing the amount of business they were already doing. They didn't necessarily need to do more. You could always do more. They just needed to do it better and squeeze things out of what they are already doing. And they do that.
Okay.
They go status update calls. Without a doubt, I know that they'll go from 80 to 120 if they do it. In your cases, you are already doing things that most loan officers aren't. I mean, that status update call alone is incredibly valuable, is because you have constant communication to build a relationship. You're a likable guy. It becomes a USP, a unique selling proposition when you talk with realtors. Like if you're meeting with a new realtor, I say new, I mean new to you and not necessarily new in the business, is that this is something that you need to get to in your conversations with them, is that most loan officers is, the biggest frustration realtors have with loan officers is their communication's poor. They just rely on automation or this. Here's what I do every Tuesday. I pick up my phone. I'm going to call you with an exact update where we're at in the process. You're doing that, right? Now, you
That's
could
great.
you could probably do it better. I mean, I haven't listened to your calls, is how you can structure it and set it up and get more out of it. You probably could do that, but in my opinion, with the volume of loans that you're doing, you need to do more. Just do more of things to create more opportunities with you with realtors.
There we go.
And so outside of the deals you have in process that you're getting, what are you doing on a regular basis to create new connections with realtors that lead to conversations?
I try to prospect, right? I'm big on prospecting. I need to get better at that, DJs.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a few, well, I'm not whining about it, just some trying transactions lately, right? But I
Yeah.
need to time block. I mean, that's the big thing with Todd. We're working on time blocking, right? It's like
Yep.
I have to time block and I have to make it a standard every day, at least 2 hours of prospect and be consistent. Do I do it? I do it. Am I consistent? No, I need to get better at the full 2 hours of committing, to
You do
truly prospecting.
you do that, your business 100% grow. So here is a little framework that I have. I share this. This works for almost anything people do. Um, you want to increase your closings, right? In order to increase your closings, you need to have more conversations, sales related conversations, right? Developing relationships, prospect, through all that stuff, right? So in order to do that, you need more connections. And you're on the right track. Jeff, I really don't have anything much to say is that if you time block 2 hours per day and you focus on creating connections, this part here, with the goal of leading it to more conversations, you're going to get your more closings. It's that simple because you already got the better. Like you're already doing things to squeeze out those opportunities that when you get them, you just don't have enough opportunities. You know that. And so I'm not
Right.
telling you anything new, and which is good, is that you know it. So you're getting that from Todd. You're getting that from me. You already know it yourself. So what are that 2 hours? Let's talk about that 2 hours. What are you doing? Like, what does that 2 hours look like?
The 2 hours for me is I usually, um, of course, start with my core group of agents, right, that already know me, right? Check in, especially if I don't have a transactional, right? Because I know I've done business in the past, right? I start with the people that are familiar with me and I
Hmm.
try to warm up, like get my conversations flowing. And then I start targeting listing agents, right? Like I talked about earlier, let's start targeting them secondly. And then I go from there, who they may know. Hey, do you know some other agents that could use my services? And then I listen intently, right? Who they recommend. I try to
Hmm.
look up their production and then grow it like that. So you see how I'm doing it. I'm trying to make it to where it's not just a cold call,
Yep.
like they're familiar with my name or somehow association.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, check-ins, build rapport with your current agents. How
And
often you
I DM them. Sometimes I'll message them through Facebook, right? Some
Mhm.
agents like that. If I see them posting a lot or they comment on one of my posts, I'll just try to DM them back, right? And just try to build that rapport and then go from there. And hopefully it develops over 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Build a rapport. And is that all business talk or you doing relational talk too?
It's more relational. I
Good.
like to get to know these agents, their family and people, hey, tell me about your family, your hobbies. What do you do? What interests you? Because
Hmm.
it gives me a lead in, right?
Yeah.
Of how I can angle my business to help grow their business
Yep.
based on their family style. What do you do for hobbies? Because we may have similar hobbies, right? I like
Yep.
to fish. I mean, some of these people may like to fish, and then we have something similar. I'm
Hmm.
trying to create similarities, right? So the
Yep.
conversation will flow a lot easier. I
Yep.
just think
Absolutely.
I think the old days of just picking up the phone and saying, I'm another mortgage guy, I think those days are long gone. I think people like familiarity, especially with social media today. I
Hmm.
think you get much further or farther with a conversation if you can do that. Yeah.
Well, I would slightly disagree with that. I'll just say that is that it's meshing the two. Depending where you want to go in your business, right? Going from 3 to 4 to 7 to 8 is different from going 3 to 4 to 30 to 40, right?
Right.
And so like the cold calling stuff works if you then follow up with it with the relational stuff. And
Okay.
I just say that because I don't that's a limiting belief that not saying to do the cold calling if that's not what you want to do, and I don't think you need to do it is you're doing all the right things, Jeff, or at least you're saying when I say you're saying all the right things, you know all the right things to do. Is is having the conversations, building rapport. It's not all about business because people do business with people they like. You're targeting the listing agents, you're asking the listing agents and other agents you work with, connect me with somebody you know. Is because birds of a feather flock together. That's fantastic, right? And so
Right.
it's being consistent in doing that every single day. But my thing is what are you going to do that is slightly more cold? And I say this is because if you said you have 10 agents that sent you business, which is great, but it's not enough, generally speaking, unless they're all monster agents giving you, a large percentage of their business. But then you have what's called
Right.
key account risk, because if one decides not to work with you, you lose a huge chunk. What's the colder activity that you can do to start creating more connections with more?
Right.
Because
Oh,
I think that's what you need. You need more than 10. And I don't know if that 10, I could be wrong. I mean, if they're really well connected and they can, if one agent connects you with five good agents, you're great, right? Then you have that. But
right.
if that 10 is and not there, and you're spending doesn't have it all that 10, and you're spending 2 hours a day, you're going to quickly run out of the people you're talking to, right?
That's right. You're right. You're right. I definitely need more referral sources. I mean, ultimately, I mean, it gets to that. I mean, I definitely need not just agents, right? Builders, even business owners, right? Just people to refer me business.
Yep, yep. Anybody that's talking with buyers, you can do that, and you can apply to anyone. Like when we talk realtors, guys, just as everybody listening to, and obviously you is that I'm willing to talk to most anybody is that's talking to people that are in the that could be buying a house, right?
Right.
Or listing or refinance is so what are those if it's not realtors you're gonna go after, though I think that should be the one that you go after first potentially, just because familiarity, you're already doing that well that you know
Right.
their language, you know the value you can provide them. If you switch to a different referral source, there's a new learning curve.
Right.
Um, but is what's that colder outreach once you've extracted which you can from the agents, your 10 agents. Like let me ask you this. Let me ask you a different way. So these 10 agents that refer you a deal is there's a new listing agent on every one, right? I mean, it's not always the same listing agents. You have different ones.
That's correct.
Are you
Yeah.
going after those ones hardcore?
I wouldn't say hardcore through the winter months. I plan on it. Yes, I haven't in the past because of, and I'm not well, it's not an excuse. It's just reality of the weather we've had here.
Hmm.
January, February was kind of that shouldn't hold me up though. I at least touch base with them, and it's on my calendar to start really trying to set more of a coffee or a Zoom call with them, DJ.
Hmm.
They're very receptive. I mean, not one of them doesn't. They either call me back, text back. Some of them have been on vacation, like earlier this month,
Yep.
stuff like that. So you follow me? It's a timing thing. So I'm just trying to stay in front of them and eventually get with them. And then some of them have their family working for them. They're like, "Hey, I need you to sit down with my son and I,
Hmm.
and we'll all, collaborate." Yeah,
Yeah. So
but they're very
it's
receptive. I just
good.
got to, grow that out. And like you said, I've got to create more traffic though, leads
Hmm.
with more agents. I know exactly what I need to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would not. It's Friday the 13th here of March as we're doing this recording here. Spring's upon us. I know we had 70-degree weather, but now we're gonna get like 8 inches of snow. It's just freaking
Oh
crazy.
wow.
So it's nuts. But that's Wisconsin for you. And but it's time to get in front of those agents and go is because generally speaking, it's good that you have been staying in touch with them, but now I would push it a little harder in getting those opportunities. But we need to come up with a cold outreach strategy, a colder. When I say cold, everyone thinks immediately cold calls. It doesn't have to be that way. But social
Okay.
media, I like cold calls because I just know that if I talk to 10 realtors, I will get one, two, or three of them to meet with me. And out of those three, I'm sure I could get one of them to send me business. And
There we go.
so I know my metrics, but I've done it a long time.
Right.
And so I know that. Others, it might not be as good, but the thing is, it's predictable, and you get better at it. You just have to do is what am I going to do for 2 hours a day? Maybe it's 1 hour you do it with your core group, and then an hour it's just cold
Okay.
outreach to do it. And then what will happen is you'll find your numbers is, hey, it took me X amount of outreach to get this many realtors. The good news is that you'll improve it if you're intentionally trying to improve it where you'll improve your numbers. You need more connections
Right.
that you get conversations. And that's what I would spend. Alex Ramosi, you don't know if you know who he is. He was growing his businesses and he talks to others. He goes 100 outreaches to 100 different people for 100 days straight. You do that, your business will grow. Now, I'm
Oh
not saying
well.
you have to do that per se, because I don't think it would take you that much. with the amount of money that we make on a deal and where your goal is to go to, 8 deals a month, it won't take you 100 days of 100 outreaches. I know that for a fact. It's just that you have to make those connections, get a bunch of them, develop that relationship, interact with them, and drive it to a conversation. See who you
Yep.
know in
Okay.
common. And then try to get that person maybe even to, hey, I saw that do you know, like do you know Jane Smith or whatever, or Jane Doe, and help see if you can then make that mutual connection, is that they can connect you with there. You just got to
Okay.
do it. It's grunt work. I mean, you're in the military, you understand grunt work, you know how it is.
Right.
You just got to be consistent. You do that 2 hours every day, you will get to start getting the business you need to get to your goals. Jeff,
Appreciate it.
I mean, seriously, man, I'm really happy to hear all the different things you're doing. You're doing a lot of things right. We just need to do more of it and get more opportunities for you.
I agree totally. A lot more of it to get to, like you said, to get to consistent 6 to 8 loans a month. That would be
Yep,
huge. Yeah.
absolutely. So here, what I'd like you to do is keep me posted how it's going.
Okay.
And if you have questions on it, we don't need to jump on another one of these. Just reach out to me, brother. Happy to share anything, give you any more insight.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Jeff. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye now.
Bye. All right, so Jeff is, I like Jeff. He's closing good business. You can tell he knows what he's talking about. He's valuable. He's doing a lot of the right things. He's just not doing enough things in order to drive more opportunities into his business. And it's more outreach. Going from 3 to 4 loans to 7 to 8, it's not that difficult to do. Or when I say difficult, it doesn't mean it's not hard work. It's just that there's not tons of things you need to focus on. It's just that I need to create more connections, whether it's cold calling, social outreach, cold email, all these different things. And you create those connections, drive some of them that will come to conversations. Let's say you have 100 connections and you're able to get 20 conversations out of that 100 connections. And then those 20 conversations, you should be able to get, let's say, even 10% of them, that'd only be two, to start sending you deals. Right? I mean, so you have 20 conversations with realtors, you get 10% of them, that's 2 new realtors. You can do that easily in a month. You can do that. When I say easily, you got to segment your time and all that kind of stuff. And we are back. And who do I have coming up next? And breakout rooms. Okay. And I think it's Ben over here. So let me see. So you guys see what I'm saying? There's not really anything complicated. It's just a matter of focusing your attention to the right thing, and you'll get the results here. So let me see. All right, I think this looks like a new loan officer. Alrighty. Sorry, that took a little bit longer than I had planned. So one of the things I'll learn is how to manage my time a little bit better on these particular calls. And so I am behind schedule. That's all right. And we'll do what we have to do here. So we got Banner. This is the guy that I don't know, but I recently met, which is kind of funny how that worked. And so I'll explain that once he comes on. I think he lives out in Montana. So not a lot going. Oh, there's my dog barking. My wife just got home. She was at some fancy farm, not a fancy farm, like this organic farm place that makes their own kombucha and all that stuff. But any which way. Banner, how's it going, sir? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I shouldn't be muted.
You're good now. You're good now. You're good now. You don't mind your video, your face showing?
I don't care.
Okay, you don't care. So, Banner, I was telling the people that are listening, well, right now this is being recorded, so not watching live, is that, well, I didn't know you when you filled out your form here, intake form, but we were on a shuttle. This was what, last week? And I was sitting in the back of the shuttle, and some guy asked me my name or something, and all of a sudden you're like, what? You turn around, hey, I know you, and like I just filled out your form, and I'm like, who are you? Oh, Banner. So is that kind of how it worked? It's just kind of crazy, completely different parts of the country, end up being on the same shuttle, going to a same place, and now we are here together. So how's it going, sir?
Real good, real good. Thank you.
All right, cool. So I'm running a little bit behind time, so I apologize for that. I get a little long-winded and stuff. And so we'll dive right into things. So just give me like the 30 seconds. So are you a new loan officer or are you getting back into the business? I'm trying to look at your form here, so I just want to make sure I understand where you're at.
Back in, and I believe on my form I was um talking about my school platform that I'm looking at to bring in veterans and everything. Do I have that on there?
No, I don't see anything about, I just see, what have you tried to fix? I see social media marketing, building realtor relationships. I don't see anything about your school place, social media as you're doing. So,
Okay.
so what's your school thing that you're looking to do? Guys, if you don't know what
I
school is,
threw
that it's like an online
a link
training
in the
platform. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I threw a link in the chat. I have a school platform for veterans. It's called Home Base. I built it. Took me a couple weeks. It's basically it's free, no charge, but everything to do with VA loans. Everything I know about VA loans, I have,
Mm-hmm.
a classroom going on, several modules, a weekly one-on-one, a calendar invite, a community, and I'd like to grow that because I'm positioning myself as a VA expert. I have an app that I can give out to people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm in MLO box right now, so we're putting out a ton of content, and I'm referencing this as like, hey, if you're a military veteran active duty, come on in. Home base is free. Everything you want to know about a VA loan. So far, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into military. I'm joining military groups, veteran groups like on Facebook or whatever that have like 5,000, 6,000 people posting. I don't want to get overboard on these groups and get kicked out for spam, but
Right.
posting every 2 or 3 days, like, hey, here's a free resource for you. Um, and again, this is brand new, but I think this is going to be a lead generation magnet for me if done right. So I've looked at a lot of other school platforms. They might have like 2,000 to 30,000 members. So I think I
Yeah.
want to put a lot of time into uh like I said, I have it created. I just the marketing aspect of it, like marketing a free program for a specific client.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm falling
So
short.
you want to be the VA, you want to niche down into VA and you want that to be your go-to. Is
Correct.
that okay? By the way, I love the VA loan. Jeff, who was on here before, he was a veteran and he does VA loans too. And I'm gonna give you the same advice that I gave him, but let me first ask you this. What's your most immediate goal? Is your most immediate goal, hey, I need more business right now? Or is it that my most immediate goal, I don't really need the business. I have things coming in and I really want to spend the time, even if it takes me 12 months to get any traction with the VA stuff.
Probably the second one. I mean, I do have loans coming in. I do have realtor relationships. I just think that this, like the overarching goal here, I think I could really turn this into a lead magnet, even referrals. If I have to refer them out if they're states I'm not licensed in, because ideally people would be coming in from all 50 states, and we can do 47 of the states. You know what I mean? Just refer them out.
Mm-hmm. So,
Um,
because the reason I asked
it's
that question is my goal, but my goal is to help you and where you want to go. And sometimes people is that where they want to go, their goals and their time frames and what they're doing don't always align and match up, right? And the reason I say it and bringing that up is because anytime you're creating, I'm just call it organic, is organic content is where you might be spending money to get people into school and those different things. It's a slow play. It's a really slow play, and it takes longer than people think to get there for most people. Everyone sees the one person that blew up all overnight and they expect them to be like them. And thing is, they're the exception. And in most cases, those exceptions aren't even really exceptions because you see that it took them how long? Like Mr. Beast, obviously different. He's the number one YouTube creator by far and all that stuff. I think it took like 10 years for him to all of a sudden become an overnight success, right? That kind of thing. But he also is very incredibly disciplined in trying to learn and trying to get better and all of that stuff. I'm not saying this to dissuade you. I'm doing it for two reasons. Is one is for you to know the amount of work that you'll need to put in to get it up and going and monetize it, and the work you need to do to get better at the content and all that stuff. It's a lot. It can be done, absolutely. But it's way more than what most people think. Like if you look at my social media and stuff, one of my big focuses this year, I've done a lot of ads, marketing and stuff, paid advertisement over the last 10 years, spent millions of dollars and that kind of stuff. Got pretty good at that sort of thing and drove a lot of business and opportunities. But this year, I wanted to switch, still do that kind of stuff, of course, but I wanted to start building a brand, a DJ brand, whatever you want to call it. And it's a different game, right? It takes a lot more time. If you go at my social media, let's just say even December, and then you look at today, like what I'm doing is the amount of output is increased and it's a slow burn. It takes time and constantly improving. So is if you do this, is knowing it's going to take a lot longer than what you're likely thinking. I hope it doesn't, but just being real, and you have to spend a lot more time and effort into pushing it. So we can talk about that, or if you want to say, hey, okay, I know that, which is great. Maybe we get together again, we talk more about it in a few months, because I want to do some things to start driving more business, direct now business to me. Then we could talk about that. So what would you prefer? Right now business, or what do I need to do to help me build my school?
Yeah, sure.
Your call. Like it's totally your call. I just wanted to frame that because there's a lot of people that listen. Like the two people I talked to before you is they each had things that they're doing generating business, but they both had things that were going to distract them from what they need to do now to get more business. So they wanted to go, if like one wants to go from 80 loans to 120 loans, like, well, maybe we should do this. But if they did this, it would distract them. Instead, they need to do better of what they're doing. The other is they need to do more of what they're doing. So is you tell me where you want to go, and then we'll go with that.
Yeah. Let's go with, I guess, what you already have prepared with.
No, no,
like,
no. I didn't have anything prepared.
So I thought I put this on the form. I must not have. I apologize.
Banner, I didn't
So you
prepare
were,
anything. I just want to clarify. So that's what I want to just make sure what you want to go.
of course. But yeah, sure. Let's go with the I guess what you have for like the generating the business right now.
Is that what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Is that what you want? I want to make sure, Banner, because this is your time. So I'm just making sure.
Yeah, sure.
You don't sound too sure, Banner. I'm direct, brother. I'm direct. So I seriously, if that's it's totally you. So what you want?
Yeah. Let's run with it.
Okay, cool. All right. So what are you doing? Like, where's your business coming from right now? Because your goal is you're doing you said I have 0 to 2 loans per month. So I'll just say you're closing 1 loan a month. Is that right?
Yeah, I just so I was out for about 3 years with the rates, coming back in and just getting back in front of the realtors realtor partners I used to have.
Mhm.
I'm using Reader to pick up more, using OSI generating flyers for them, sending them out, stuff like that. Doing the MLO box, I've got, I don't know how much social out there, but quite a bit. And I'm working on one loan right now. I've got like 2 or 3 people I'm not working on yet, but I'm working them. I'm not working the loan. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd like to do a refinance. I think rates are going to come down a little bit more. I'm like, well, I don't know, man. This war in Iran, they might not come down in 2026.
Not anymore. It doesn't seem like that.
Right. You know what I mean? I'm saying,
Yep.
so yeah, I got things going on. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm just standing here like what do I do next?
No. And you want to get to 3 to 4 loans per month. How quickly you want to do that?
I'd say by the summer.
Okay, so 3 months, 3-ish months or so. Okay. The good news, it's very doable. So I'm going to give you a really quick overview and what I would recommend doing. There's two big things that I would focus on. One is I don't know the amount of outreach that you're doing to these past clients that you have, the realtors that you've worked with but you need to dedicate at least an hour. I would say 2 hours a day. You have the time because with the volume you have. even with just 2 hours a day, you know what the cool thing is that it still gives you plenty of other time to work on your school that you want to do. I can tell that's a passion of yours, so I'm not here to tell you not to do your passion. Is like, what can we do to do both? Now, if your goal was, say, DJ, I want to start closing 10 loans per month, and I want to do it by the end of the year, I would probably more firmly say don't do the school thing right now, is because that's going to be a lot longer play to do that, statistically speaking, right? But being where your goals are at, if, hey, I get to 3 to 4 loans per month by summer, the good news is it doesn't take a lot of time to start building it, and it's just a matter how fast you want to do it. If I wanted to do it really fast and say in a month, I would say you need to prospect at least 4 hours a day. But even if you just do 2 hours a day and you could spend other time on your school group, you will grow. So is you need to have more outreaches to potential referral partners. You have your past realtors you worked with, which is great. What's your unique selling proposition of why a realtor should work with you? I know where you work, so I have ideas in my head, but I don't want to know if I didn't know if those are things that would be beneficial for you or things that you're using. So what are the angles that you're using? Hey, realtor, I know I'm back in the business here, but here's why we should here's how I can be a value to your business. Like, do you have that?
Well, yeah, and I was actually, while I was kind of waiting, I was working on a slide deck, just with that, with Claude, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Coming up with a slide deck, but like one good thing, learned over in Detroit, you got the reverse for purchase. That's something you can use in a niche situation,
Yep.
obviously not very many situations, but it's one more bullet in the gun. Like I said, I can do the open house flyers. One of the biggest things that worked for me, and I'm trying to get this rolling again, is doing. I used to do in-person home buyer seminars. I would host them. I'd bring a realtor with me.
Yep.
He got to come or she got to come, but they would market it to their social media or whatever. And I'd put out a blurb or whatever, but
Yeah.
the bulk of the people would come there. And I do probably 90, 95% of the talk and do a nice warm introduction. We both hand out business cards. We both get deals out of that. And a lot of times we get the same deal, you know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yep.
well, this guy from I want to take that and move that into a Zoom room, which would open up a whole lot more realtors that I could do that with,
Yep.
rather than just, driving. Cause when I did that before, I would drive an hour. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that still limits me to like 3 major metropolitans. So I got that. Another thing to do with next, obviously being a broker, and I was a broker before. I know how to
Hmm.
pitch being a broker. Lowest rates, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's
Have you thought about
kind of
your company's BDM program that they have? I think that's pretty killer.
yeah. And that the slide deck I was working on, I had that listed as well. Like we can actually monetize you for referring us business. I don't see a lot of. I brought that up to a couple of realtors. Not the like the owner of the franchise, but realtors that I know that I work with. And they all say the same thing. Like, man, I don't think they let me.
Yeah, I'll tell you that is if you're getting that, guys, I'll just say for those that are listening, the BDM program that his company has, it's legal. I've vetted it and all that stuff. The company has for years is where you can legally compensate people for doing marketing on your behalf that generates business. It's not paying for referral, but it actually pays it for business and all that stuff. It's pretty darn sweet. It's a great opportunity. I'm just sharing that banner so people know when I say BDM. But any which way is if people are saying that there's a couple of things that are happening. One is either that the presentation of what it is, they're not quite getting it. But what most likely is that there are going to some that are going to reject. There's nothing in this world that you can offer to a realtor that 100% of realtors are going to jump on, right? And so that means that we just need to have more conversations. And because I've talked to agents and I've talked to many others that are killing it with that program. That's why I brought it up because I think it's a very fast way to get realtor partners. But here, let me show this here. So this is you, Banner. This is you. And as I'm hearing you talk and this is very common for everybody at many levels. This happens to me. And this is one of the reasons why I would get stuck at different ceilings is that I would start having, I'm just going to put, school here, and then, then you have, you talk about reverse, rates, and you have all these things that you're talking as potential, USPs, right? Or things that make you different, value you can bring, webinars, so on and so forth. And any one of these things in itself can be good, but the problem is that right now, from what I'm hearing, as I'm hearing you talk, and this is the common thing, it's spreading you too thin. And so you're not putting enough effort able to put enough effort into any one thing to actually see good results. You're familiar with the Dave Ramsey talked about the debt snowball, is where, like, let's say you have 5 credit cards that you're trying to pay off. Instead of paying a little extra on each one, pay all of your extra onto one card, the minimums on the other. Once that's paid off, apply to the next, the next, the next, and you end up paying your cards off way faster by doing the debt snowball. It's the same thing as when we have all these different opportunities of things that we could do. If we try to do a little bit of all of them, we don't really get good at any of them and we don't see much success. So we bounce around. Versus if I'm going to put my effort into one, is that I'm going to get better at it much faster just because the volume of effort you're doing. It really only takes 20 hours to get pretty proficient at most things in life, right? And so, like, what's the one thing that if you did this, I have my ideas for it, but if I want to go from 1 loan a month, I want to get to 3 to 4 per month in the next 3 months. What's the one USP that you could focus on and get really good at? And then my goal is I'm going to get good at this, and then I'm going to make this my prospecting effort, an hour to 2 hours a day.
Virtual webinars.
Virtual webinars. Okay. Why do you think that's the one?
Co-branding them with realtors.
Co-brand with realtors. So you want to adopt their database, basically get them to do the webinars with you. Right? So
Yeah,
they invite their database. Okay. All right. So I like the webinars because it's leverage time, right? But here is the potential issue. And let me share I want to share my screen again. Is you're getting back into this. How many realtors do you know right now that would do a virtual webinar with you? Like if you were to call them up right now and say, let's do a virtual webinar, how many realtors would that be?
I don't know, 7, 8 maybe.
Okay, 7 or 8. So 7 or 8, and how big are their databases?
I couldn't think. I don't.
Right. I'm saying that. Right, is because
look at their database.
Well, that's why when we want to find these things out is because if I'm going to partner with the realtor, if I'm going to spend all this time building an effort of the webinar, a pitch deck for the webinar, all these things, and they can't drive traffic to it, then it's a lot of effort for nothing, right? And so I love webinars. I've done a ton of webinars. I've done them with realtors. I've done live stuff. I've done it where I bring realtors on and I present them. I love webinars. Webinars tend to be as a second level. When I say second level, a second step in the relationship, right? And I know if I'm going to do a webinar with a realtor, I'm going to put all those resources into it. I need to make sure that realtor has the capacity to bring business from it, like from a database or whatnot, right? How do I find those realtors? Is I first need to prospect and be valuable to those realtors on an everyday basis. And that, hey, this is our relationship's working really well. I like this. We should now ascend our relationship in a way to a webinar, right? It's because now we have mutual trust. Now you have 7 or 8, and you might already have that. But then the thing is, okay, if I have 7 or 8 realtors that would do a webinar with me tomorrow, I need to find out, use Reader, how many deals have they closed and all that stuff to see if they have the capacity. There are 4 things I look for in a realtor or any referral partner. One is competence, is they're good at what they do. I'm assuming all the realtors are good at what they do. There's character. They're good, honest people. They do things right. They don't try to do anything dirty. 3, there's chemistry. You work well together. I'm guessing all 3 of those things are for sure that you have with these 7 or 8. The one thing that you need to make sure of, and this is what you don't know, is what's their capacity? Meaning, do they have the resources to, whether it's database, ongoing leads coming in, to where I can get business from them? Because a realtor that's closing 2 buyer sides per year, I might love them. They might be the greatest person. They might be the smartest realtor in the world, but they don't have enough opportunities for me to spend a lot of time and resources building that relationship, right? So they don't have that fourth component capacity there. There's nothing wrong with them. It's, not trying to be mean, but is that if my time's valuable, when I say mine, I'm referring, yours, right? Your time is valuable, is that you need to develop, the higher level things you do, which I would consider webinar higher level things, it has to have all four of those C's, right? And so a good way to do that is use Reader and ask them. Ask them. It might be a little uncomfortable is to do it, but that's going to tell you whether you're going to waste your time or not with those webinars. Good. So let's just say though, go ahead.
No, I use Reader daily. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. So what are you doing with Reader? I mean, I know Steven, the guy that owns that company. I love Reader. I use it every day too.
Well, I just check on like production numbers, like last 24 months, looking at even loan officers recruiting, you know what I mean? Like, I'll look at their production stuff. So I've got ads out and I brought 4 people to the webinar yesterday.
Oh, that's great. Great. I was on that yesterday, so hopefully I did a good job
Yeah,
for
I
you.
know. Went a little over time.
Yeah, I left early
Probably
on
would
it.
figure out a way to shorten it to it.
Yep. Okay, cool. So for me, for you, Banner, it's a scattered issue. And if you can, instead of buckshot, if you can get more laser focused, you're going to get to 3 to 4 loans very quickly. Is that if you want to, if webinar is the one that you firmly feel that is going to get you there by June, I would argue that there might be something else to do that. But if that's what you want, I'm not going to tell you what you want. Let's make that better, right? And the way to make sure your webinars are better is one is that it has to be with a realtor that has the database that you're going to push it to. Otherwise, it's not worth it. It's not worth your time. Okay. But now let's say that you do the webinar. You do the webinar, make sure it's recorded, is then you're going to take that webinar and then you want to then have it broken up into content that you can further push out to others. And then you can use that. You could use that and say, hey, like you get the success rate. Hey, let's say you had 20 people show up. And out of the 20 people that showed up, let's just say you had, I'm just throwing numbers out there, 5 that are looking to now to buy and have to buy your consult with the realtor. That's now data that you have that you can present to the next realtor that has capacity to do and say, hey, realtor, I'm looking to develop a relationship. One of the things that I do is that I co-host webinars. And for instance, here's the last one I did. We were able to get 20 people from their database. Out of that, 5 people wanted to buy or consult, 3 wanted a CMA. I have the plan to do this. So then you take your success and you leverage that for further success from there. But it all starts with is that it needs to be with an agent that actually has the capacity to create success from that. You do that, then you create your flywheel, and then you just keep doing those webinars continuously. And you find different angles from it. And eventually might be as ones that you end up doing with a lot of realtors is that you have VA clients or potential on there, and then you do a VA webinar. And then you have all of your realtors funneling to the VA webinar because it doesn't matter. You don't need to talk about each realtor. Is like you go to the realtor that invited you here, right? You can push them back to the realtor. By the way, I have the school thing that I'm doing here as well. You might not be ready today. That's why you get into my school. They have it's free or whatever, and it's going to have that so you're ready. But how do you get 20 realtors to feed your own personal webinar is first by being valuable with them with their own webinar or other things. And then that's how you can start filling up your school. But narrow your focus on what you're doing instead of having all these different arms and focus on the one that you're passionate about. School is obviously one of them, right? On there, but I think the webinars could maybe not the first webinar, but as you get going, will eventually become a feeder to your there. Because even on those is you can even pitch it. If anybody here is a veteran on here, is that we have something special for you, completely free. That's going to help you, right? All right, cool. Does that help bring a little clarity on some next steps for you?
Yeah, I just kind of cemented on like okay, that's kind of what I was going to do anyway.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Good. Narrow your focus.
Yeah.
And anytime you feel yourself being stretched in another direction, because there's opportunities everywhere of things we can do, sometimes it's more important. It's not what we say yes to, but what we say no to.
Right.
All right, cool, brother. Well, I gotta jump on to the next one here. Reach out to me. Let me know how your first webinar goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
your time.
Absolute banner. Okay.
Bye.
See ya. All right. So guys, we will go right to the next one here. I am running behind, super behind, and so let me message. Oh, geez, I am behind a whole session. Ready for Kurt. Ready. Ready. Let's see here. Who's in here? Ready. Oh, the other one, I passed his time. I know he had an event, so we'll catch up with him. So we'll have one more here. Um, so let me message. Hey, tell Nick. Nick is in the waiting room. Tell him if he wants to wait, he can, and I can meet with him right after Dennis on there. So let Nick know that. I think Kurt had to get going, so totally cool. So we see how this is a little awkward. That's fine. I didn't expect things to be perfectly smooth. Nothing ever is. If you expect everything to be smooth in your business, it's just not going to happen. So with Banner, love his heart and all this stuff. You could see is, and this is a very normal thing for us loan officers, is that there are more opportunities and new things coming all the time, and that can distract us. And so we have to narrow down. When I say not niche down necessarily, like I was talking about, but narrow down what are outbound activities we're doing to generate business. Now, if he's doing one loan a month, he's getting back into business. Going from one loan to 3 to 4 is not hard. Again, it's not hard. It's just a matter of doing the same thing and doing it over, doing more of it, and then refine it and do it better. And like I personally think he should have do the BDM stuff, but who am I to say? Oh my gosh, I got a gopher here. Is that what a gopher is?
It's a grizzly bear.
Oh, that's a grizzly. That's the kindest looking grizzly I have ever seen. I was not ready for that. But that's all right.
Well, he said no chance.
You're good. Good. The guy before came on with this picture and he didn't care. So I don't care if you want, you can do the grizzly. Totally fine. Speaking of grizzlies, I didn't see any when I was in Montana. When I was in Montana this past earlier in the weekend and such, but any which way, you're a grizzly. You look a lot more friendly grizzly. So I appreciate you hopping on. Running late, running long because I talk too much sometimes, I think, so I'll get better. So nice seeing you guys, and I appreciate you hopping on. And so we've been talking to a lot of loan officers, growth, and as I said on a few of these calls that I've talked to, is that there's two main constraints whether a branch will have or a loan officer have. It's either going to be supply constraint or demand constraint. Simply explain, demand means there's not enough business coming in. Supply means that you have business coming in, but you're having a hard time managing it. Now, as I was looking at your guys' intake form, is your goal it's being stuck in operations? That's the biggest thing? You're trying to get Kathy out from the operation side of things, or?
Well, some things have transpired since we filled that out with you and the conversation with that EXP team that's bringing LOs aboard.
Yeah.
We hired our daughter, who was experienced in mortgages, to help do loan coordination with us. So that's why I was asking you about the W-2 1099 the other day. Looks like she's going to come aboard. So that's going to give Kathy more time to focus on production opposed to, on sales production opposed to work, loan production once it's in processing. So, so we may have solved a portion of it.
Okay.
I don't know what else you'd want to add to that, Kathy. Kathy's shy today.
That's okay. That's totally fine. Okay, so you're getting the stuff where you're able to get Kathy out of the ops, and then it's okay. And then the goal is put the pedal to the metal and drive more business. Is that then what you want to focus on? Okay.
Correct.
Let me move. Sorry here, Matt. I'm gonna move something here in 1 second, guys. I'm gonna see if I can move. No, I can't move. I don't know. It's not working. What the heck? Why can't I move Nick? All right, we'll let him in anywhere a little bit later. It's fine. Okay, cool. So what do you guys want to get to in units per month?
Well, Kathy, you want to speak to that?
Well, I think our goal was 6.
Yeah, our goal together combined was, around 6 loans per month for us. Because it's not, last year we did 4.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we could say
Yeah,
higher than
maybe
6, 8 then, yeah,
I guess
let's
8.
double it.
Yeah.
Okay, 8. Okay. And what's stopping you from getting to 8? Was it just the operations now you have that fixed, or it's looking
Yeah, I
fixed?
think that was a big part of it as far as, like, even if you remember when we were using this service to call realtors and set up appointments,
Yep.
we've not even yet, we had, I've told you this, the last 6 months been kind of hectic with
Yep.
moving and everything and whatnot. But so for us, we haven't even really, Kathy called them initially, got great vibes from them and all that, some of the ones that we did connect with,
Mm-hmm.
and just haven't even followed up on those yet in Colorado.
Yeah.
So now that we're hoping Audrey is coming on board, we're hoping a week to 3 week that she'll be fully operational and with the system, and then that'll free us up to do more prospecting.
Got it. Okay. Now, when you're talking about prospecting, who are you going to reach out to first? Who's your plan to reach out to first? 'Cause I have some thoughts on this. But it's going to see if we're on the same page first, and then.
I was planning to reach out to those realtors that were warm to the last campaign that we did with you.
Yep.
So those realtors, and then we have Redder, so we're going to keep adding to that
Okay.
list basically through that.
Okay. So I'm going to put refresh agents met and then new agents. Okay. That's exactly what I would do too. You have low hanging fruit on agents that you've already met that hopefully have at least some sort of familiarity, with you, and you had that conversation. How many of those would you say that there are? I don't remember what the number was.
The ones that were, I probably had 15, I think, out of all the ones that we talked to that were really, they wanted to explore further, and they were
Okay.
interested in the BDM program.
Okay, that's one thing I was talking about. So you have 15 that are, we'll say warmer potential, and then how many that are less warm? Would you say? I don't remember how many you met. Obviously, it's the rest of them. I just don't remember how many you guys.
I don't know. I don't even know if I had all of those. But I do have another list, probably well over 100. But they're just like generic, not generic, but just pulled from certain, like Redder or something like that.
Okay, I'll just put an X amount there. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, am I doing here? Trying to making notes here on my iPad. I'm still not used to this thing yet. I've been an Android guy forever, but iPad is the one that I can go to my Zoom and quickly change over it. So I'm going over to the dark side for all the iPhone people out here. And it's okay.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. I got both.
We're Android people, so that's hard to hear.
All right, good. You're my people. You're my people. That's good. Okay, cool. So you guys are talking about the BDM program. That's your unique selling proposition, BDM.
Yes.
I would say, yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. I love that. I love that program. I think it's brilliant. I was talking to a loan officer just before this, and I told him that he should look to use more of that. But any which way. Okay, so you have 15. You guys are going to 8 loans a month. I tell you, you have 15 agents that have some sort of warm connection with you. It should be pretty darn simple to get to that eight level. It's just a matter of the consistency of doing it. Now, have you guys already worked out your pitch for it, the BDM, or you guys have not worked out how
It's
you
more
present?
of a wing, I would say, more winging it.
Have you been on the
Agree
info
with that?
session for Karen? Yeah, I think Karen puts an info session on it.
Yeah, I have. So I haven't talked to him since Nexa's revamped the whole BDM system. So, so that's what I planned on doing. I didn't really have a pitch laid out just yet, but
Okay.
I have been into those sessions, and I have some emails and just different flyers and stuff like that I can follow up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
My recommendation, guys, is being that you have 15 warm and a bunch that are not so warm. Here's what I would look to I would do is I would practice my pitch a bunch with, obviously with each other, just kind of work it out. But I'd also probably try to test it out on a few agents you don't really care about and get some live practice on it, is because I do think it's such a valuable tool and a very unique opportunity to speak with realtors and why they should speak with you. And the reason I say that is the loan officer I was talking to before, is that he said, I brought it up to a few agents and they weren't interested, or they thought, oh, I can't do all that stuff. And I firmly believe that one, he didn't do enough of those meetings, but two, he didn't work his pitch enough. And so then he burned that bridge with talking about that opportunity. And
Yeah.
because it is such a unique thing, and we've been ingrained for our entire careers, RESPA, 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 and knowing with every I dotted, every T crossed of what they could potentially say that would get them to say, to object to it. Object to it, and not in the sense that they don't want to do it, because maybe some just don't want to do it, but we don't want them objecting because they think you're doing something dirty. And because
Yeah.
if they think you're doing something dirty, is that not only will you not get them on the BDM program, they're not going to want to work with you generally on everything else because, oh,
True.
those two couple, they're doing some shady stuff and I don't want to deal with that. And
Yeah.
which would be true if I thought that about a realtor and they're doing shady things, is that I'm not going to work with them because character matters to me, and my license I don't, it's not worth any particular referral relationship. So
Right.
you'll want to do that, and that could even be getting with Karen again and just really hammering her on the legal side of things and the compliant and how we exactly do it. So when somebody says to you, well, I was always told this or that, he's like, you have the answer for it. You know, reason to
Gotcha.
make them feel comfortable. So that's why practicing on somebody that doesn't know you, or there's not warmth there, because they're going to be even more critical, right? Because they don't know you, or you're just kind of some slimy person coming here trying to
Yeah.
tell me something illegal to do to get the business. But the good news
Well,
is,
just
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Dennis.
just to address that, because I've experienced it with a recruit. He's, he does good numbers and he's coming aboard finally, but he has a system called asklocal.com
Okay.
that he developed. It's kind of like um, a site that it connects everybody in the party of the loan,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be the attorney, the client, the realtors. They're all in one chat, and so they always know real time what's going on with the file. So at first he was all gung ho. He went to the WineX, and in the end, when the BDM thing was explained, and I talked about the BDM thing. We ended up with a Zoom, me, him, and Mike, to talk about the Ask Local and how that could be part of Nexa. Maybe Nexa could integrate it, or it could go on the marketplace.
Yeah.
And then at first he was all gung ho, but his business partners that were investing didn't trust the BDM thing as being legal.
Yeah.
So Mike was saying, well, it's been vetted. I'm the one that takes the hit for it. If it goes bad, it's not you. It's going to be me,
Yeah.
And so at first he was gung ho, and then he backed out. So when I finally got a hold of him again, he says, I'm going with Barrett. And I'm like, oh, you are? And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess my investors just don't like the whole BDM thing. I said, well, you don't have to utilize it, but I'm thinking that they maybe thought the same thing you just said. If they're doing dirty stuff, we don't want to be part of it at all. So I ended
Yep.
up getting Mike involved with it again, and he got to present to Mike his little asklocal.com thing that he developed. And then now I just onboarded one of his guys for him. That was the question last week. Could I onboard a guy and then reposition them once he comes on? Because
Yeah.
he can't come on to the March. So two of his guys are onboarding. So he is coming on now.
Great.
And he's overcome the BDM issue. And that was due to Mike explaining it, and also him and Mike showing interest in his company and potentially investing in it. So
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, so you overcome the objections and prepare, which is like a good lawyer. You know what's going to come and be prepared for anything that they might say.
yeah.
But your path, guys, is pretty simple. I think your guys is the easiest one that I've talked to. You guys know exactly what you need to do. You got your biggest constraint, it looks like, fixed, or at least on the path to being fixed.
Yeah.
And having more conversations with those agents, the BDM program. Now, one other thing too is that, see if we can squeeze some more out. And I had the suggestion for other people too. When you have a file in process, are you doing anything during the process to try to squeeze out more realtor meetings, more referrals during the actual loan process?
No,
That's
no.
No, not really. And that's
definitely
something
an area of improvement right
we
there.
knew we should do that early on, go to the closings, is when we could attend closings, to hit up on the selling agent and also introduce ourselves to them. And we did that at the beginning of Nexa,
mm-hmm.
But it just kind of, with a lot of our businesses in Texas and not in Louisiana, or not local.
Yep.
Some of the business is Texas, some of it's Colorado, so it's a little difficult to show up to a closing.
Yeah,
Open them up.
and what I recommend, and this doesn't even require going to closing. You don't need to go to the closing for this. But this too will take you from where you are to where you want to go to if you add this to it. And so you have your buyer's agent, your listing agent, and your buyer. I talked to another loan officer regarding this too, is that if you look at during the process, that's your prime time to generate opportunities, not at
Yeah.
closing or after. It's during the process because everybody's in that mode of doing it. And the simplest way to do it and the easiest and fastest way to do it is status update phone calls. Is that you predetermine which day of the week you're going to do it. I was doing 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, but you don't. I would start off with just one day, and you're going to be able to have conversations. I structure my conversations on an update this way: RVA, rapport value ask, rapport value ask. I structure a lot of things that way, and so like for instance, I'm calling the listing agent and say I've never done a deal with them, assuming, right? You want to work with that listing agent. And so you call them up, let's say it's Friday, and it's a, hey, listing agent, this is, Dennis, and, I'm the lender on 123 Main Street. Now, one of the things I do is every Friday, I'm going to give you a call to give you an update exactly where we're at in the process. You'll never have to chase me. You're going to know where things are at all times. And I want to make sure you and your sellers are at ease at all times throughout the transaction. Now, if there's something else that happens before a Friday, I'm going to let you know, but you can guarantee you're going to get a call from me. And so I build this, do this, and then I give them the update, which is my value. Here we're at on the file. The appraisal has been ordered. Has the appraiser called you yet? No. Okay, make sure they call it. Blah 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 blah. Then you go to the third part, which is the ask. Now, the first time I talk to the listing agent, it's not going to be asking for an opportunity yet. It's just say, is this something that this would be helpful for you? That's just a simple ask, right? But as I continue to do these calls, they look forward to the calls. But then I would do my ask. I do the rapport. Hey, listing agent, it's me again. Give you your update on 123 Main Street. We got your conditional approval. Just a couple small things the buyer's going to get to me, and they'll have it to me by the end of today. We'll get it to underwriting, so on and so forth. Right? Great. And then you can ask any plans for this weekend. You go now doing open houses, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yes. Just so you know, if you need anybody, even if you have a go-to lender, if you can't get a hold of them, I'm here for you. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I don't expect anything in return, right? Then you can also do it is that, hey, been working really well together. Now your ask is, I would love it. Could we set up a Zoom? There's some really cool things that, that my team does is that we don't look just to take from agents, like most loan officers do. Yeah, we do great communication, all that stuff, but we have some things in place that actually will make you more money or things that generate more business for you. Can we set up a 20-minute Zoom on Monday? Now you got yourself a meeting. You want to do this in the process because they're engaged with you during the process. After the process, yes, you might have closed great, but they quickly are on to the next deal. Same thing with the buyer's agent and then the buyers. You're asking for referrals from the buyers is because the buyers, when they're in the mode of most hyper aware of other people buying, is when they're in the mode of buying. Once they close, there's a residue of it, but now they go into moving mode, unpacking mode, painting mode. And so with my buyer, I'm calling them up Friday. Hey, I know we talked to my processor, but I'm talking to you too, and give them their update. Hey, by the way, my processor said we still need that pay stub. Can you get that to us? So you're still having that communication, right? Which is great, so that you still feel like you're the doctor checking in. But then you're asked, did you come across anybody at work this week that mentioned looking to buy? No, no problem. When you do come across someone, can you tell them about me? That wording is important is because the reticular activating system, I mentioned this earlier, so people are watching this obviously earlier, but it's one of the most powerful tools that we have is to utilize somebody's reticular activating system. That's the part in our brain that lets information in or blocks it out because we get tens of thousands of inputs at any time. It's why you're in a crowded room and all of a sudden you hear your name called. It gets through that reticular activator, it comes in, you hear it, right? It's because your brain allowed it in. Now, we also have that when you're in the mode of doing something, like say you bought a new car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. When somebody's in the mode of buying, they are more aware of those conversations. So we're going to use that to our advantage. So when you say, when you come across someone, can you tell about me? They're more likely to hear those conversations. And then when they do hear that conversation, they can't help but think of you because you told them to think of you. It's just, Now, we can't control whether they say anything, but we put ourselves in a better position for them to actually say something for that opportunity.
Okay.
Really simple thing. You do this with the buyer's agent, listing agent, and the buyer on every transaction. You will squeeze more business out of it, more readings out, more meetings out of it. And now that you have some really valuable things for the agents, you're going to capture that and turn into more business.
Yeah.
And it becomes something, a circular thing that self-propels itself as you go.
Gotcha.
And you made those calls yourself?
Yep.
You didn't?
Yep. And so that's another great thing too, is that as you build a team, is that they're doing everything, right? You want them to do everything, but you're able to say, hey, my team is going to be handling this stuff when they reach out to you, blah, 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 all that stuff. Listen to them. But also, I'm not forgetting you. I'm going to call you every single Friday or every single Tuesday. So you know that I'm on top of things, right? And that you're here for me. So if there's a problem, and you want to bring it up with my team, you can bring it up, right? You could say that to make them feel better. But you're not doing it for an administrative thing, though it does help. It keeps your process going smoother. You're doing it as a sales call. Sales call wrapped, it's being wrapped by, the operation type call of giving them updates. But yes, absolutely do those calls.
Yep.
Because even if you have a lot of deals and you spend 2 or 3 hours making those calls, which would take a lot of deals, that's 2 or 3 hours of prospecting time, which is green time. It's money making time. So if you reorient yourself to thinking that this is a sales call I'm doing, you're going to be more motivated to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good.
All right. Yeah, that is good. Now, is there any kind of script that you have that we could plagiarize?
Yeah. This framework, and I use this framework for my emails.
So is it?
Yeah, text message, phone calls, rapport, value ask. So let me just give you a good example of calling a borrower. And so ring, ring, hey borrower, it's DJ here, with your Friday status update. How's work this week? And one of the things I like to do, this is kind of a second level thing, is that I try to remember my conversations and try to pull something out of a conversation that I might be able to bring up on the next conversation. So let's say let's say they had a big thing going on with work. I don't know, a presentation. I'm just using an example. Or they mentioned something with their kids in the recital. How did the recital go this week? Or how did that big thing with work going? Well, that's rapport. So always try to start with rapport. It doesn't need to take long. Then the value. The value is the update. Okay, so here we're at on there. I know we talked to you yesterday with stuff, but here we're in the middle of underwriting right now. I do know that, and I think the processor reached out to you, or my LOA reached out to you, that we are going to need your most recent bank statement. Do you understand, what we need, get that stuff. And so I might reiterate something they already been told, but it's coming now from my position of authority. Get that to me today, right? We're still waiting on it. So the value is the update. Then it makes the ask all the easier. So now that I did that, now I'm going to ask, by the way, is who do you know on there? Now you might not ask every single week, on it,
Right.
or you might change the way you do your ask. But it's just that framework. Same thing with the agents. And rapport, value, ask.
Acronym.
Yep.
Yeah. Rapport, value, ask. Okay. So you go off of that guideline. Well, however you say it, just go off of that.
Yep, and that in that order. Most people are, why they have a hard time with an ask is because they usually are putting that in the front of the conversation, or it's their mind. Hey, I'm trying to do the ask. No, I'm earning my ask through the rapport and then specifically the value.
Okay. All right.
And knowing that is that the biggest complaint of loan officers is communication. It is very valuable. And so sometimes I'll even prep a buyer. Hey, the reason I'm going to give you a call every Friday because the number one complaint buyers have with loan officers is that they're terrible at communication. That's why I'm going to make sure you call. You might even get annoyed by me, but that's okay. When I call, make sure you pick up the phone because it's going to be what's going on. I always then future pace them what to expect.
Right. Now, I don't know if this applies to this call, but when it comes to recruiting, one thing I'm finding, DJ, is I can get them to the why next call. I can get them excited on the initial call. It's after that, after the why next call, when I do the follow up, and they'll say, "Yeah, I want to talk again." I never, I don't give them an open end question. I give them a closed end question, like when, I just say, "What's good for you Monday or Tuesday?" type of thing, to talk again or to get your questions answered. And it seems like right now I've probably got 15 to 20 very warm leads that were all excited, and it's getting them to recommunicate with me now. Again, if this is a different call, that's fine too. We can set that up. So
Yeah, so it's gonna be a little different context for people listening, but I'm fine sharing with it. Is that I view it as is whether it's a loan officer you're trying to recruit or it's a lead that you have, you need to do something to try to re-engage them. They showed interest and all that stuff. Like for a loan officer, if you're trying to recruit, I would try to drop something tasty to them, on there. Say, hey, I just priced this out and I'm gonna make 400 basis points, but my rate is better or whatever. Or hey, did you hear we announced we're going to be paying on servicing coming up later on in the year. We're going to have those opportunities. That kind of stuff is to drop those little nuggets to get them to re-engage, or send them a meme or something like what's the one with that? I haven't seen the movie. The guy that's all by himself, lonely. Just something to get them to respond and do something funny. You just anything to do with re-engagement with them. Obviously, phone calls, all that stuff. That's what I would do. But also knowing that you're always going to have a percentage of people that flake out. But you want to minimize that by making sure that you are constantly on top of them. Because most people think that somebody flakes out. It's really that we just lack a follow-up. Because follow-up is king. The fortune's the follow-up, as they say.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I knew that's why I called it what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I called it with Kathy. I told her, I said, that's got to be it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So
right,
when are you guys gonna start implementing those status calls? That's what I'm really excited for you guys, because
Monday.
that's
Next week.
perfect. That's very low hanging fruit. Work on that your pitch for the BDM program, and you guys will crush it.
All right.
All right.
Okay, buddy. Thanks,
Appreciate
DJ.
you too. Talk to you guys
All
soon.
right. Thanks, DJ.
You're welcome. See ya. All right, I got potentially one more coming in. I'm just clicking admit. I don't know if he's actually in or not. Nick, are you there? Nick, I don't know if you're there or not. I got your text late, 6 kids, all that stuff. Totally understand,
Yep.
man.
I'm here, bud.
Oh, good. Doing good, brother. I was trying to, for some reason, I couldn't move you into a breakout room. So
That's okay.
it's all right. We'll just dive into it. And it actually works out fine because I was running behind because I talked too much. So
Well, that's all good. I was sitting upstairs in bed with my daughter, and I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh shit.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
My wife finished up her day because she takes half days on Fridays, so it worked out perfect.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad we got you on, brother. It's been a while. I was making fun of Minnesota and all that stuff earlier. So if you watch the recording and I called you out and all that good stuff, but I think it's all good fun.
He wanted to be early and he's not even here.
Right, exactly. It's all good. So fill me in, man, because it's been a while since. I know you were doing really good, but then you kind of stepped aside and you started pursuing some other things. Just fill me in, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So 2022, I had a friend that decided he wanted to start a business and construction stuff, which I know nothing about, but he knows that I'm good at business stuff, and I had some money to help and put it off for a while, and he finally convinced me to do it. So I did that, and I was getting a little burnt out from some of the mortgage stuff just with stuff going on. So I put some time into that, and long story short, not equally yoked, bad relationship, didn't go well, and now I'm dealing with all the fallout from that. So I'm back to focusing my time on mortgages 100%, and I just got to get shit going again.
Yeah, sometimes I've been there too many times, and you think sometimes you learn your lessons and you don't. And I've lost.
Yeah,
I'd be embarrassed to share some of the numbers, so I'm not going to share some of the numbers I've lost. But it's only obviously it's always bad. But if it's like, hey, if I can pull out something really good from this, and I can use it to help me grow, I'll look back in how many years and say this is one of the things that led me to greater success.
right.
And so take note is of that, and it will happen, as long as you learn from it. I know you will, man. You're a good dude. So
yeah,
so you're getting back.
It sucks because I'm still dealing with like the fallout of that, just with the business and then some personal stuff, but just trying to get back into the mortgage stuff 100%, and it's fun. I don't know if it was something that you posted or something, but I saw it the other day, and it was like if success was you know, only 10 fails away, how quickly would you fail 10 times?
Yeah.
And it kind of changes your perspective a little bit to say, like, all right, I guess failing's not so bad, and I might have failed at this, but I definitely learned a lot.
You know, they,
Gotta
you know,
figure out.
you heard this thing with Thomas Edison, right? I maybe not, I'll just share it for everybody, but you know, people asked him, so how does it feel to fail 10,000 times to make a light bulb? And he goes, I didn't fail 10,000 times to make a light bulb. I failed
Yep.
10,000 times on how not to make a light bulb. No, so meaning that it's all those things that led to his success, right? You know,
Right.
transforming the world. So it is true. Everything is failure. The good news is once you know how to get through it and you figure that part out, is that you'll grow even quicker. So so tell me where you want
For
to go.
sure.
You're closing a couple loans per month. You're wanting to get to 5-7. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, at the height of doing things good, I was probably at about 100 a year, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
little shy there.
Yep.
And then obviously it's dropped off. We're back at like 40-ish or so, which, that's fine, but I do have a partner I split everything 50-50 with.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to get back to, got to figure out how to pick it up. And I know this is the stupid part, right? Like I know what I have to do. I got to get back into making the calls, and I don't mind calling and setting appointments. It's more so like finding those that are going to be a good relationship and figuring
Yep.
out how to keep them. Because I always find good people, but trying to find loyal people and continue to get business from is always
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. So let me share my screen here. We'll go through a few different frameworks that I think will be helpful for you. Um, Let me share. So it takes me a second here to share my iPad. Can you see my screen like when I don't know if you're on a phone or something, so I'm gonna be drawing on my iPad here. Just give me a sec.
It said you started sharing, but it's just black
All right,
still. So I
cool.
see you on. Oh, there we go. It popped
All
up.
right, excellent. And so you're 100% correct in saying you're trying to find the good realtors. And I share this with another, but I think it's so important for us is as loan officers as we grow and scale. It gives us perspective on
Right.
realtors. I mean, there's 1.3 million realtors, 70% do jack diddly. So I mean, most of
Right.
them are nothing. But there are really four C's um, on what to look for in a realtor. There is competence. I'm going to spell this wrong. So
That's all
competence.
good.
All right, good. There's competence. They're good at what they do. So I mean, right off the bat if they're not good at what they do, you don't want to spend time developing a relationship with them because they're gonna be the ones that put you the borrower on a VA loan into a house that's decrepit and wonder why it can't close because it won't pass the VA inspection, right?
Yeah, right.
Those are the ones. The one exception to this
Yep.
is if you find what I call blue chip, so a young up and comer that doesn't know a lot yet, but they're they're going to be great, or even a high degree like a first round draft pick. Those ones would be the exception because they'll grow into competence, right?
Right.
The next thing is character. These are the ones that why most loan officers can't stand realtors is because they feel that they don't have character. They're not loyal. They put their commission
Right.
check over anything else, all that stuff. And my view on this is I appreciate it. It sucks, in the moment, but I've learned to appreciate it when a realtor shows me that they have lacked character, is because they did me a favor. Like I just don't need to work with you.
Yep.
That's that. The next one is chemistry. You work well together. These Not every deal goes well, right? It just even the buyer spends their down payment or something stupid, and
Right.
the realtors that blame you for it, they one lack character, right? But they also are the realtors that you lack chemistry because they micromanage you and all these things. You just don't work well together. Maybe when things are great, but when things are hard, it does. It's not so great. Now, realtors that lack competence and lack chemistry, I would still potentially take deals from them. If it's a competent things, I might review it first before I take it. But these ones I'm going to put more in like just group B. Those are ones that they just get mass touched on. Like, and if I get something from them, great, but I'm not going to put my effort, time, and resources into them.
Yeah.
Now, the last one is capacity. This is the agents um, that they have enough referrals, I mean, they're doing enough buyer side deals that it's worth your time to develop that relationship with. And so if somebody has all three of these, but they don't have capacity, they close 2 buyer sides per year, that's not somebody that you want to invest really anything in other than I put them also in group B, right? And so is reason I bring this up is we want realtors that are all four C's. And there's really only 2 ways that we can get those realtors. Only 2 ways. If there's other, I mean, there's these subsets. One is from other 4C realtors. Do you have any 4C realtors that you would say that you're working with?
I've got one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had 2.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought I had 3, and there's been a couple that I was working with. One that I've been working with like basically for the last 9 or 10 years.
Okay.
I've never gotten a ton from them, probably less than 10 deals a year.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
10 deals a year from one realtor is a lot. So that's
yeah.
solid. Okay.
But he sent one over a while ago, and it's funny because it was a blanket DSCR loan on 3 townhouses.
Mm-hmm.
Went under contract in August. Buyer had bad credit, so she didn't want me to do anything. So I just sat on it until I could pull credit because DSCR they don't look at anything except for that, so I can't do anything about it. But then the builder delayed closing a month. It was supposed to close in November. We pushed it to December. She finally let me pull credit the week before Thanksgiving. Also decided she wanted to start an LLC, so she had to start that. And we just like things like that, right? And then we missed closing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a new product. So I was like, hey man, like just letting you, I already told the client, like I've never done one before. I don't know the process. So like you're gonna have to bear with me on things that come up. Well, when the things came up, because it was all so late in the game, it was my fault. And it's just weird, like things like that. So I think he's probably still pretty close to being a 4C, but it's like some of that chemistry and character came for. It's like, that this isn't how I operate. We've been operating together for almost a decade.
Yeah.
And you've never had a problem, but one thing just blows it up.
Right. And that's unfortunate. And sometimes, I don't know his business. This is just when things are tough in the market, like their business is slow, and difficult things happen. Sometimes it reveals true character or it brings out something of them that's not their normal character, but they reacted like a dog backed in a corner, right? And so it's kind of figuring out which one that is. But let's just say he is 4C. Is that if I want another 4C realtor, I mean, birds of a feather flock together. I would try to get him to connect me with somebody. Now you might need to rebuild that relationship a little bit to get that, but that's the first place I would go to because it's the lowest hanging fruit. And it also has the highest likelihood that they know somebody, and it's a warm connection. Like it helps me get in front of the line of everybody else because if I can get him to connect me to that person, I already have some trust there from the other person. The other ways, if I don't have this, so it doesn't sound like you have a lot, then it's just a matter of meet lots of realtors. It's not the fun part, but
that's the part that burned me out a couple years ago because that's what I was doing. It was like there's so little of those 4Cs in there that it was like I did that. We got to like 20 million and I was just fried from freaking doing it.
Yeah, the thing is though is with this is we wanted to probably do it a little bit differently this time around. And so you already know, like, what were the things you were doing to meet those realtors, just out of curiosity?
So at the time that we were getting, like, when I was getting a lot of the easy meetings, we were doing some leads, and I had just set up a group where we would do like a lead dump. So we would generate a bunch of crappy online leads, through the funnel gurus and stuff that popped up, right in the last decade or so. But we had a group and like the funnels, we would dump the leads into there. And then the ones that were like in there a lot, I would just call and be like, hey, I saw that you were doing that. Just love to sit down and get to know you and figure out where you're at and if we can work together. And just did that with everybody that kind of interacted with that group.
I'm glad you shared that because I think I have one of your problems figured out from there and why it burned you out. Realtors that are going to take those leads, generally speaking,
Yeah,
is they are lacking capacity,
for
right?
sure.
Because they need they need that business. They're willing to take that because that's all they have. So you're setting yourself up at the uh, is the lowest common denominator of agent is the ones that are desperate. It's there, or maybe they're not all of them that way, but a good chunk of them is there. So you're trying to squeeze blood out of a stone with those kinds of agents because you're
Yeah,
the one having to drive everything to them. And if they can't get something out of those leads, they're not going to refer you more business. But they don't have the capacity because they don't have the systems in order to turn leads into business and all that stuff. So it's a cycle that is it's really hard to keep up, and it would burn anybody out for sure. And so is but there are some things that you have that are value. Your idea is great. Is like I want to be valuable to them, something that can help their business. In my opinion, it was just the wrong avatar. I know because I've done that before too. When I first got into
right.
online leads and all that stuff, I totally get it. And so it's like, okay, what's something else that can be of value, to the agents? Is I'm just bring this up, the BDM thing here, because I know you're at the same company as the people I was talking with before is
Yep.
something that could be valuable to them. But the thing is, now you can target realtors that have capacity,
Capacity.
right? You don't know yet if they have character, chemistry. You're only going to know that until you start connecting with them, right? You're going to assume that they have competence if they're doing a lot of deals, they're doing a bunch. Is that you have the character and the chemistry. But the beautiful thing is that you are now the fulcrum. You have a thing that's legitimately bringing opportunities to them, or they can get opportunities from there, and then you could take it away if they're a problem for you is
Yeah.
so you meet more of them. And being that you're doing a constant, let me stop my screen share here. That the key thing then will be is that you need to put schedule side time every day is that to do outreach to try to talk with realtors about this sort of thing is because is if you know that you're always generating, let's say you generate 5 meetings a week, it's 20 meetings per month. So it's not a huge amount, but it's very doable. Is that if you are starting to work with the realtor and all of them and all these realtors you're meeting have capacity. If one of them doesn't follow one of the 4 C's and you don't want to work with them, you don't feel bad about getting rid of them. Is because
Right.
you have somebody else coming in to replace them for the opportunity. And what that does is that builds incredible confidence as you're talking to the realtors and the success with the realtors is that it'll come through you and how you communicate with them. It's just the way it naturally happens. And then you'll get even higher producing realtors.
Yeah.
Here's a really cool thing. Once you start doing this, you start bringing the value to them and you have somewhat success with it. Hey, well, I was able to help this realtor generate extra $10,000 in commissions that they otherwise would not have had the last month. Now that's success then that you can start using to reach out to other realtors to more. It's just now you have the proof of concept that it works. And then you can use that to go after even bigger fish. Like it's what you want to do is you want to move your market up. Like you're an experienced loan officer, you know everything. Is that instead of going after the low ones, is that you'll be able to then quickly move up market and go after the bigger fish. And it's
Yeah.
gonna be something that others. And then what that's gonna do is just make your life a heck of a lot easier. You'll be able to do a lot more loans with less headache because it's coming from fewer referral sources that aren't micromanaging you, aren't putting sloppy
Right.
deals together because they're not going to do sloppy deals or they do very far and few in between of them. And then it makes your whole process easier, less
Yeah.
headaches.
Yeah. That would be the goal. Before it was try to reach out to as many people and get one deal from 200 agents, and
Yeah.
that's not a way that I want to do it. Just with the other business stuff, what I've learned, I'm trying to make my sphere smaller, and I want that business to come from
Yep.
a smaller group of referral partners that like what we do. Like
Mm-hmm.
my dad's my senior partner, you know that.
Yep.
He's been doing this for 40 years, and his thing is always like there's enough of us in this industry, like don't work with people that you don't want to work with.
Yep. Exactly.
I'd like to get that to a specific number of people. And I'm not looking to do anything crazy, right? Like if I could get to 20 million, that'd be great because
Yeah.
the company we're at, we're trying to do other things with recruiting. My partner just got licensed on the Action Realty side for stuff too.
Yeah.
So like we got a bunch of avenues, but my main focus, because he's more of the recruiting side, my main focus is to get the production in for us. And lovely Minnesota is slow this time of year in general. Well, you're in Wisconsin, you know that always slows down this time of year.
Absolutely. And the good news is that you have some really valuable things that you can bring to agents, and this can allow you to go after a higher quality of agent. And then it's just a matter of consistency in the outreach and setting up those meetings, really honing in your pitch of it. One thing I recommend is knowing the ins and outs of the program, because what will happen is that you'll have agents that would be interested, but they're thinking you're doing something shady. So to be able to answer all of that, to dispel any concerns that they might have. But it's super simple for them. It's a great opportunity. It's a great in. Get success with it, and then you will be able to have success. Make a post on Facebook. And you have agents reaching out to you. It's like, I want in, and then you get to choose who you want to do it with, or you use that stuff. I know you were talking about the other things you're doing recruiting, and help you connect it with your recruiting, and you can create this whole ecosystem around you. But it starts with doing the outreaches to the agents that actually have the capacity to send you multiple deals a year.
Yeah.
Cool,
yeah,
guys.
that's the name. I do like that. I've been looking at the BDM program, and I have a couple of people signed up.
Yeah.
Actually, literally a couple. We got two. We just signed another person up yesterday, although he's not a realtor. He's a credit repair person that gets a lot of stuff. So different avenue stream. But yeah, I think the BDM program will be huge. So that's good that you've talked with other people that have been thinking the same thing. So
yeah, I absolutely would be using that. I would just make sure is where most people go to it is they tend to try to go to the lowest producing realtors because they feel comfortable with them, because they're me, it's the opposite. I'm going to go to the higher producing ones just because I'm gonna get way more bang for my buck. When I say bang for my buck, I mean my time, effort, and all that stuff.
Right. Yep.
And I'm gonna have fewer people that I work with, but I'm gonna get a lot more out of it.
Yeah. So let me ask, are you just going on like Reader or MMI and finding the top buy side agents in your area?
That's what I would do, 100%. I would do that 100%, start reaching out to them. I would, being that you don't have too many agents that you're good with, my first thing would always be is I would ask my agents that I like to connect me with them first. But if you don't have that, your only other really option is you got to do the mass cold outreach to do it there. And then from that, but once you start having success with those agents, then you start asking them, who do you know? What friends do you have? It doesn't hurt their business at all to do that, to connect you with other agents they have. And so my always thinking, how more can I get out of what I have? And so you only need to be doing the cold stuff for a shorter period of time once and as long as you start leveraging those successful meetings into more successful meetings.
Yeah. And I don't weirdly, obviously, we all have call reluctance, but I've never actually had bad luck cold calling realtors. Like I've always had pretty good success about just talking and getting a lunch meeting or coughing. But of course they always know I'm going to pay for it. So who doesn't want free lunch?
Right. But this time you're only going to bigger, better producers. So
right. Go to the big one. That's part of it. So no, that's good info.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Keep me posted on how it goes. I want to hear some good success, bro.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. Take care, Nick.
All right, CJ.
See ya. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. So as you can see, guys, we ended up meeting 5. One, he couldn't make it because I was running a little long, so that's my bad. But any which way, we'll get him on another episode. And but you'll see is that business is a matter of focus. Is a loan officer's business. It's so easy to get distracted by different things. I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try that. This is getting hard, so I'm not gonna focus on it. But it's a matter of figuring out what works for most loan officers, especially when your production is lower. It's a matter of what has worked for you and then doing a lot more of that. Now, if you already have a bunch of business coming in, and which is great, is then you can say, what can I do better, or what can I do to squeeze more out of those opportunities? And then for some, that was one of the things that the guy that's come on, he's got a ton of business coming in, and we were to talk more about he has more supply problem where he's just handling all the production that he has coming in. we'll get some more where we talk with loan officers like that, but fixing up your supply, because is you have these two problems. Demand, I need more demand. Like I need more business. Like you might be able to handle this much business, but you only have this much coming in. Then it matters, okay, I got to push up my demand so I can fulfill my supply. Eventually your demand outpaces your supply, then you have to push that up higher and then push that up higher. And then you can have really unlimited scale. And you can do most of that by doing more of what already works. And once you're doing more of what works, then make it better. Work on making it better, squeeze more out of it. Once you get that dialed in, then it's about doing it more again, and so on and so forth, before you're adding a bunch of new stuff to it. I hope you guys found this valuable. Let me know what we do to make this better. If you have questions, bring on some people. If you want to hop on one of these, there'll be a link somewhere around this video. Fill an intake form. I won't be able to bring on everybody that fills out an intake form just because of time and all that good stuff. But that's it. You have yourself a great day. Take care.